Be without a Quaid playing in a Munster final. 2 decades on from Tommy and Joe, it's Nicky Quaid between the posts. Fullback Richie McCarthy was heroic in the last match against Tip. Today he's a mainstay at the back for the home team. Kilmallock clubmates are said to offer stern resistance at wing back. That's Paddy O'Brien and Gavin O'Mahony. The team is led this afternoon by midfielder Donal O'Grady, who made his debut here against Cork in 2004. When Limerick last played in a Munster final 6 years ago, Seamus Hickey was left corner back. Today he's at wing forward, while the attack is led by Adair's Declan Hannon, the scorer of 9 points in the semi-final win over Tipperary. Meanwhile, Cork's goalkeeper is a man with strong Limerick connections, and of course Anthony Nash is also a current All-Star. In the absence of the injured cornerback Brian Murphy, extra responsibility falls on the shoulders today of the experienced Shane O'Neill. Right half Tom Kenny is playing his 50th championship match here for Cork, seeking a 4th winner's medal. Lorcan McLaughlin has recovered from a shoulder injury and joins Daniel Carney in midfield, while team captain Park Ronan returns to the side at wing forward, having recovered from a bout of pneumonia which limited his involvement in the semi-final. And in the inside forward line, the team's most consistent score getter over the last few years has been Patrick Horgan. The number 14 got 8 points out of 23 against Clare. The sense of expectation and desire for victory is as great as ever on Munster final day. But who's it to be? Throw-in is just a matter of minutes away. We're looking forward to it.
Oh, we surely are looking forward to it. There's no doubt about that, Ger. You know, Sir Farrell, these days with teams, there are so many statisticians and planners and fellas doing tactics and all the rest of it. But in actual fact, it's just Limerick's direct style of play
Limerick
that you like.
They play traditional hurling, they're in your face. They may give one pop pass, but then it's a long ball. Watch this. McCarthy goes back, Richie here now, gathers the ball, cuts out, little hand pass here. You're going to find it. Once he gets room to strike, bang, long ball up to the forwards. It's a great ball going up from Michael because it gives the forward, comes fast, so there's no one really ready for it. Every time they do this, again under pressure here, goes back in the ball here, centre back, Waymack, little flick out here, another long ball, right up to the forwards again. You have to have the forwards and Mulcahy, Hannon, these guys breaking on Charlie Tobin. Here again. You want to see another little pass here, great burst out here, the blindness McCarthy, little hand pass again over here to Donal O'Grady, direct ball, bang over the bar. They kind of upset Tip with that kind of like Tip flashier on the ball, but like Limerick play direct, it's their own style of hurling. They'll give one little pass and then it's fast ball up to the forwards, and more times than not it works for them. There's no real kind of little set pattern in it, but like it's Limerick hurling and it suits them.
All right. Earlier on there we were listening to Michael Dignan. He was down talking to Ger Canninger, and he was saying that for him the Limerick full back line is going to be a crucial part of today's game. But in actual fact, you think the Cork full back line and how they perform is going to be important.
Well, you see, it's only the second game, and I suppose we're all judging by the first game and some kind of deficiencies that were in the Cork full back line. Now the problem in that is they gave away so many goal chances. They weren't scored, but there was at least 3 goal chances. Now people were saying 6, but I saw 3 really good chances. We're just showing 2 or 3 of them here. And just if Honan had gone past his man, because McDonald had given up that day, a lot of the problems were coming from Stephen McDonald at full back. And the game, when he was put 1-on-1 with Honan, now if Honan had continued on there, he had the ball buried in the net. Now, as well as that, the full back line that day gave away 10 points from play against their immediate opponents. You know, so Brian Murphy, as Jimmy Barry was saying, Brian Murphy is a massive loss because he was such a steadying influence there. Now, I don't know the way two lads look at it here, but what are Limerick going to do today? They're going to have Declan Hannon now at full forward. In all the games so far, he has played 40 yards out from goal. So does that mean McDonald will follow him, or does it mean O'Sullivan or O'Neill will follow him out? Because I think that Limerick have made a slight error, now maybe I'm totally wrong, in not starting Shane Dowling. Right. Because if you had Shane Dowling and Hannon there, Hannon will go out, he'd draw one of the players out with him, and then you'd have McDonald isolated inside, and beside him would be Graham Mulcahy, a really dangerous player. So it'll be very interesting to see how it work out. But it's the thing for people to watch out. If you see that Cork full back line getting opened up, then it's a sure sign that Limerick have a great chance of winning this game.
Well, Liam Sheely, there's no doubt, target man inside, or a fella that you can play the ball into and know he'll do a job for you. We're actually talking about this a little bit earlier on about the match last night between Kilkenny and Waterford. John Milan was shots of him up in the stand a few times. Maybe he was on the field. Who knows? Maybe things were different. You're mentioning there Graham Mulcahy. You've been sort of contrasting him to the role that Patrick Horgan will play as well.
Yeah, I think he's a very important player for them. I mean, you know, you need a goal getter on any team, and like, you know, Graham Mulcahy, he struggled for long patches against Tipperary the last day because he found himself pitched against Michael Cahill. last year he got a great goal against Tipperary, one step in and goal. And you know, for a corner forward, he's vital to their whole team. And you'll see his goal against Dublin here. I mean, most corner forwards wouldn't go for that ball. They'd say, no, I'll put the hurley up, I'll back out of it. Graham Mulcahy was brave, caught the ball out of the sky. You know, that's a real brave catch. A fair hit there for a small man, and stuck the ball in the back of the net. And he's very capable of doing that. And like, if he's on fire today, you know, he's a key player for them. And likewise with Patrick Horgan, I mean, this guy, he's 110 points got in championship for Cork. He's an exceptional talent. And his ability to score off right or left, he's a lovely sidestep, and he's very, very accurate. Obviously, he's the free taker as well. But it's not just his contribution from frees. His ability, as I said, if he's on the ball, he's a really, really dangerous guy. And he loves nothing nicer than taking on defences and putting the ball over the bar. And he's also well able to win his own ball, which you can see there. His first 2 points are off his left hand side, just as good off his right hand side. And if the Limerick backs are weak on discipline today, and they allow this guy to put the ball down, he'll put it over the bar. So I think two very much key players. It'll be interesting to see how they get on in their respective attacks today.
I suppose, Liam, the one annoying habit they have is that they are inconsistent. You know, one day they're very, very good, the other day very poor. Now, Graham was very poor against Tipperary the last day, although most players are very poor against Mickey Cahill, who's a brilliant cornerback. The same with Horgan. And for all the position the Cork had in the full forward line the last day, including Horgan, against Clare, against a team that they were absolutely rampant, they didn't create one goal chance. Oh, it'll be very interesting to see if they improve on that today.
But I think for Limerick, Michael, as well, Cork love to kind of, their forwards are lovely touch hurlers, like you know, kind of ballerinas bounce around the place. If you give them the space, they'll definitely will show you their wings and they're gone.
Yeah.
I think Limerick will have to close down the back line, be in their face, hit them hard, be kind of onto them the whole time, not to let them play fancy. I felt the clear backs, even though they're very good, played too much kind of nice hurling. You want to be kind of in their face the whole time, because if you give these guys space, they have the touches, like, you know, Lehan is beautiful, Harney they have to come on, all these guys, Pat Cronin, they'll flick over lovely scores if they get the space. So I think Limerick will draw back and try to close down the space, especially early on, and make it a physical contact in your face. If they do, Limerick have a good chance, but if it opens up lovely hurling, Cork will win it.
But I think interestingly as well, Michael, I mean, they got 23 points the last day. 15 of those 23 came from play. If they were to put a goal or two on the back of the scores, the points they're getting, they'll be very, very hard to beat here today.
But what really shows that improvement in Cork is when they will be roughed up, as you are right, sir, they will be roughed up by the Limerick backs. When they will be roughed up, will they be able to take it? Because that is the fault they've had over the last 2 or 3 years. When it came to confrontation, they just seem to get lost. Now, if they don't, and if they're able to take that and still keep hurling, that'll be a sign that maybe Cork are on their way today.
Well, Limerick will try that. They'll have to hold their composure. They can't just afford to give away frees, but that's what's going to happen as you go down the championship. You won't be getting that space in all these big championship games. As it goes on the championship, the space will get smaller and smaller for the forwards.
We saw a shot there a moment ago, lads, of a little toddler in the crowd with ear mufflers on, and you're going to need them. Anthony Daly, by the way, there in the crowd as well. I'm sure looking forward to this Munster final and looking forward to better days with his own team, Dublin, as well in this year's championship. Ear mufflers will be needed when that ball is thrown in a little while. Liam, could I put this point to you? Would this be a reasonable point to make? That at the start of the summer, before the championship, Limerick and Cork, in terms of people's choices or pick as to who might be Munster champions, will be behind Tipperary, obviously, and Clare as well. Would that be fair enough?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I think obviously, you know, Tipperary would have been favourites to win Munster, and you know, Limerick came with a plan and they got them in here, and like when the match was a match, they were 4 points down and went on to win by 3. So they did a 7-point turnaround in the last 20 minutes, and as you said, they were able to bring guys off the bench that made the difference. So again, they won't fear, and likewise with Cork, Clare having beaten Waterford, were expected to be able to take Clare in here, missed their goal chances, and when Cork got on the run, there was no stopping them. So both teams are coming in here with good momentum today.
Alright, I think people at home can probably hear the cheers beginning to build up here at the Gaelic grounds in Limerick as they're ready to join into the parade. So lads, the bookies are still open around the country. It's your hurt up, Nahan.
Well, you see, when you look at the teams, because they've only one game played, we're all looking now at the falls. Now, that doesn't mean that we're being negative in any way, but the things to look out for it would say, as Cyril said, the Limerick full-back line, first of all. Will they give those goal chances away again? Their half-backs, are they good enough in the air? The scoring ability of their half-hours, they'll be the actual crucial things for Limerick. For Cork, I suppose, that full-back line we mentioned, Kieran Joyce at centre-back. How will he hold the centre? Lachlan McLaughlin, is he fit at midfield? And above all, will that full forward line for Cork score goals? It's a beautiful day. Limerick, the one thing Limerick will bring to this game is absolute savage passion. And maybe at the end of the day, that's the thing that will separate them. I'll stick with Limerick because they're at home.
OK, Limerick's passion maybe to just swing it. Liam Sheedy.
Yeah, as I said, Cork got 50 today the last day. I can't see the Limerick defence giving them the cheap possession of the ball today. I think it really comes down to the Limerick half forward line. Will they be able to break even with this Cork half back line? I think that's what it's going to come down to. I think they'll maybe just have enough, and their home ground here, I just fancy Limerick to shade it, but we might have the third draw of the weekend in this hurling championship as well.
And the final word to the Galway man.
You can see it out there, like the atmosphere. It's like in the corner. It's ready to explode. Again, if Limerick can hold their tightness against Cork, but like the more you look at Cork, I saw them coming in earlier on, and they're very relaxed and they've lovely hurlers. I kind of feel all week that Limerick can do it, and yet when I just see them Cork forwards, if they get the space, I just have the feeling maybe the tenacity and the crowd behind them might drive them on. But like. I wouldn't bet on this one because like it's really a toss of a coin.
Okay, it probably is, Well, it's for the last couple of minutes it's been really hard to hear what the lads are saying here in the studio, and for once that's actually a good complaint, because I can tell you the atmosphere really is, and I know we might be slightly overstating this, but it's absolutely fantastic here in the Gaelic grounds in Limerick. So then, the wait is almost over. Time to join our commentary team here at the Gaelic grounds. Michael Dignan, and first, Ger Canning.
Well, Michael, it's some setting, isn't it? 44,000 people or thereabouts, we believe, inside the Gaelic grounds right now. It's also an indication of the heat, I guess, that all of the players decided to discard the helmets while they went on their parade around behind this fine body of men and women making up the Tulla Pipe Band. Great town for music and for hurling, of course, Tulla. But right now, it's here in the Gaelic grounds, which is packed to capacity. It's a ground which was very much used as a Munster final venue back in the 1960s. At that stage, between 1961 and 1970, 10 different Munster finals were played here, but only 5 in the 40 years since. She's got to enjoy it. They all are, I think. Hard to believe when you consider that there are only 5 counties in Munster competing at this level for provincial glory, that it's 21 years since Limerick and Cork last met in a Munster hurling final. And back in 1992, it was played at Porky Queeve. And Jimmy Barry Murphy was then co-commentating on this match for RT Sport, but he's back directing operations, as you know, for Cork today, and sharing the limelight with an old friend and a club colleague, John Allen. So, instead of JBM, Michael Dignan's most welcome. What a setting.
Well, thanks, Gerald. First of all, I'm no Jimmy Barry Murphy, so we'll get that out of the way. But it's an incredible atmosphere, Gerald. Since 3 hours ago, the place was mostly full here. Great crowd from Cork, and obviously a massive crowd from Limerick. And I think for the players out there today, Gerald, none of these players, as far as I know, have a Munster Championship medal. It's a huge occasion for them. I think most of the Limerick panel, 27 of them or something, won their first championship match ever against Tip the last day, and now they all find themselves only 3 Cork players surviving from the 2010 Munster final. So really, it's a huge occasion for all these players, and that's the big imponderable today. How will they react to this, to the pressure, to the atmosphere, to the occasion? And I often found as a player that you were maybe cooler than the supporters and your family and everyone else, that that's maybe what you lived all your life for occasions like this. And just this is a real throwback to me. Limerick haven't won a Munster Championship since '96, Cork since 2006, so it's a brilliant occasion. Whoever wins it today, I've gone for Limerick during the week, but a bit like Cyril beforehand there, who knows?
Oh, he was sitting on that fence.
But he was sitting on the fence. I've gone for Limerick. I'm going to stick with them, but it is really a hard game to call, and you don't know who's going to react best under this pressure today. And there's going to be mistakes, there's going to be incidents, there's going to be passion, there's going to be everything out there, and I'm really looking forward to it.
We've got a glimpse there of JBM on the sideline with Kieran Kingston, one of his selectors, the Muir Forna. And I have a recollection of Kieran scoring a winning point or winning goal, I think, in 1997, a match that was drawn between Cork and Limerick. And Cork went on to win the replay in that game in Thurles. That was the day of the famous John Fenton goal. Do you remember that?
Great goal, of course I do. And I just happened to have a quick word with Ger Cunningham and Kieran Kingston and Johnny Crowley down there before the game, and Dr. Con Murphy, and it just struck me how relaxed they were. These men have been through it so many times before, and it'll be interesting to see if they can maybe tell the players what it's like on a day like this, and impart that absolute massive experience that they have, and that confidence that Cork teams always bring to the big occasion. And you can see that maybe that is the thing about Cork. Will they have that swagger that they normally have?
Well, against JBM today is of course John Allen, a clubmate at St Finbarrs, and a man who took this Cork team in 2006 and they won a Munster Championship. That was the last time that Cork were successful in Munster, and of course the year before he won an All-Ireland with the Rebels. Well, now before the action gets underway, there's going to be a minute's silence. And this is for two people who sadly passed away recently. Brendan Jones had been a member of the Hospital Herbertstown Club and also a Han, and he would have been well known around Limerick here as chairman of the GAA Fund in this part of the world. The fundraiser is known as Lifting Limerick. They raise funds to boost the games here on Shannon side, and in particular hurling. That's Brendan Jones, one of those being remembered here. And the other man is Christy Mannix of Cloghone, a former chairman, a secretary and a player with the club as well. And he was also associated as a player with Treaty Sarsfields and with Limerick also. He was a man who won hurling medals in 57 and 58, and he won a football medal here in Limerick also back in 1950. So Brendan Jones and Christy Mannix both being remembered here. Yesh Love Day Gorev Ananam Naka. And now in the broiling heat of Limerick, before the action gets underway on Munster final day, here's our own Avian. So the St. Paul band make their way off, the crowd in full voice. We've seen a magnificent one here, and it's Limerick and Cork set to do battle in the 124th Munster Senior Hurling Final. And the man in charge is James McGrath. He was in charge of the replay of last year's All-Ireland Final as well between Kilkenny and Galway. It is Limerick who won the toss, and they've opted. They're playing from right to left in the first half, and here they come. As in the match against Tipperary, it was Donal O'Grady trying to get first possession there and trying to break away, but instead going deep, Seamus Hickey here. Playing it back. Paddy O'Brien having a go, and that's a brilliant start for Limerick. Paddy O'Brien, the LIT student, the wing back, getting primary possession inside the opening 20 seconds of this match and putting Limerick in front.
Yeah, and Seamus Hickey doing what he does. I think he's bringing to this forward line onto a ball very quickly and laid it off. I see Christopher Joyce gone from centre back to midfield in a switch with Lorcan McLaughlin, who's gone back to centre back straight away.
Well, there were indications there would be switches, but right now Cork are switching into the attack, and that attack has produced a score for the midfielder, and it's Daniel Carney getting his first point of this game, tying up the score. Haven't even a minute played yet. Carney getting onto it here inside the 45-metre line, doing really well. Seamus Harnady's got into full forward in another one of those switches. We were told there might be 5 or 6 positional switches made by Cork. Nothing new. James Ryan trying to get possession and succeeding here for Limerick, the man on the 40. Smart ball forward here as far as Graham Mulcahy. Taking off. Well hooked there by Tom Kenny. Kenny standing his ground, but Limerick have a chance of winning it back again. And Hannon, who started deep, takes off past that first shoulder of Conor O'Sullivan and drives it over the bar. 2 attacks by Limerick, 2 scores. That's a very impressive start.
Yeah, Jordan, that's a great score, but I think if you look at that again, Declan Hannon does brilliantly here, breaks through, but possibly could have kept going. The whole thing was opening up in front of him there, but a very good score early again. And here's Graham Mulcahy and Tom Kenny using his experience there, coming back. Mulcahy a little bit ponderous there.
That clearance out of defence is by Conor O'Sullivan. Once again, it's the Limerick defence, and it's Wayne McNamara, solid as ever. Out here as far as Seamus Hickey, nobody on him. A lot of movement by the Limerick players so far, and Cork have stayed in positions, and this time the referee has spotted a foul inside, and it's going to be a free in and around the 20-metre line, and a chance of another point for Limerick, and an even more impressive start for them. James McGrath there had spotted something. He was a good 50 metres away.
Yeah, Ger, and just in Seamus Hickey's role here, it's going to be so vital. He drifted way out the field and picked up the ball, and I saw him in the league a couple of times, and what he's doing is he's actually running with the ball an awful lot. A very hot day for that, but Tom Kenny will have to be a lot tighter on him, because Hickey is a very good player.
Hannon could get a second point for himself and a third for his team, and it really is a good start. So 3 points to 1, not even 3 minutes played, and Limerick are in front here. Well, this was the foul here. It was just there in front of the post, just outside the 20-metre line, and the referee had spotted it. I think it may have been Stephen MacDonald.
Yeah, very good refereeing there by James McGrath.
MacDonald from the short puck out by Nash. Cork yet to settle, really. Oh, that went straight past Shawnee Tobin, and Cork are able to benefit. It was Stephen Walsh going across here, now helped out by Richie McCarthy. McCarthy there on his own end line. Oh, was he trying to link up with his goalkeeper, with Luke O'Farrell there almost intervening? That could have been horribly dangerous for Limerick. A hand pass from that position there could have put them really seriously into trouble. It's gone wide.
Yeah, very dodgy play. We saw Jackie Turr last night a couple of times passing back, but there was maybe 20 yards between him and the goalie. There was no danger, but that was a dangerous pass back there. I think that's the way Richie McCarthy plays. He's off the cuff, and you don't know what he's going to do next.
Well, he got away with it. It was risky. Nicky Quaid's puck out, it's a huge one. The man he usually targets is David Breen over there, and Breen has got it. Big, tall, strong man, chance of a goal here, and that one has gone wide. He had options, he had two men inside. They got nothing out of it.
Well, that's it exactly, Joe. What a catch, first of all, and he's very good in the air, but once he went through with it, either tap it over the bar now or keep going and go for the goal, and he went away from the goals, hit it wide, and wrong option there by David Breen.
Well, you just got the feeling Cork haven't really started in this match. They're lucky to be just 2 points behind. Puck out again. Look again where Seamus Hickey had gone, but he didn't get that one. It was collected by Cian McCarthy. McCarthy in again quickly after this. Hickey likewise rolled up and then lost by Luke O'Farrell. Still they try to get it away. Once again McCarthy, one-handed across here as far as Tom Kenny. Kenny trying to slip away from Gary. Collected, however, in the end by Stephen Walsh, about to be hooked. It was Seamus Harnedy who was in there starting, even though he's number 10 on his back. He's at full forward. Here he is. Harnedy, who was outstanding in the semi-final, still being given enough time and latitude to have a go, and he's missed the opportunity. All of that hard work, which he did himself virtually, failed to produce anything.
Yeah, but you see Seamus Harnedy coming in, but Stephen Walsh was way too slow to clear the ball there. And just the space that Limerick are creating inside here, there's huge space with Seamus Hickey coming off out the field, and James Ryan just leaving maybe one or two inside the 50-metre line.
Connolly Hound, by the way, is out at right half forward. Meanwhile, mention of half forwards, here's Seamus Hickey. Tripped back onto his feet. Not sure if the referee gave an advantage. Wasn't any advantage. And in the end, they've lost possession, Limerick, and it's a free out to Cork. He is spelling a lot of danger so far, isn't he?
He is, Jerry. Great catch, but I think the inside forward, I would like to see him delivering the ball. He's only running into trouble there, and he eventually was penalised. Great catch by him. All he did was turn there and move that ball in fast into the full forward line.
First chance for Anthony Nash, the goalkeeper, to come out and have a go of a free. And he scored twice, you might remember, in the semi-final against Clare. Goalkeeper with 1 goal and 6 points to his credit so far in Championship hurling. Today playing just his 8th match. Light breeze behind him, sailing high. Now has he got the accuracy? Not quite. So another wide for Cork, who trail by 3 points to 1. And now they'll be beginning to try and settle down to the task here after that blitz start made by Limerick. Nicky Quaid ready to puck it out. Again, David Breen trying to come and collect, but this time it's Carney who got his body in front of it. Couldn't collect it, however, and it's James Ryan who takes off from midfield. Off his left-hand side, accurately over the bar. James Ryan with his first.
Yeah, that's a fantastic score, Ger. Once that ball broke, James Ryan was onto it like a flash and showed great strength, and one quick look up and over the bar, super score. Cork struggling to get into it. Conor Lehane is out at right half forward and Seamus Harnedy at full forward and really struggling to win possession. Limerick are all over them at the moment.
Cork were trying to take a short puck out there, but it didn't come to anything. They go long instead down towards Patrick Cronin, runs on instead towards Luke, runs into three Limerick defenders. One of them takes it away, one of them being Wayne McNamara, slipping the hand pass out as far as his captain, Donal O'Grady. Cut out here at the pass by Conor O'Sullivan. Needs a second go, needs support as well. Comes back here as far as Stephen McDonnell. Taken down here by the midfielder Daniel Carney. Outside it comes Christopher Joyce, only his second season in playing in the championship. Across there towards Harnedy, does well to collect it. McCarthy's after him, hand pass back there towards Pat Horgan, and Pat Horgan from the shot puts it over the bar, his first of the afternoon, and they eat into the lead, and now it's 4 points to 2, and that's a little bit more like it by Cork. Enterprising play, opening out to the defence, and Harnedy, one of those involved, slipping the pass to Horgan.
Yeah, Cork worked that one out well, Jaron. With Limerick pulling out so far out the field, they're going to have to use that extra man, lay off the ball, and a great crossfield ball there by Christopher Joyce. Good score by Pat Horgan.
It's Tom Kenny there letting that one sailing over his head. He hasn't really settled down to this match just yet against Seamus Hickey. But coming out of defence here is Lorcan McLaughlin. Now Kenny once again across the field this time. But it's the other number 5 who might get to it. Paddy O'Brien, who got the opening point of the match after about 20 seconds. Back to the corner here to Stephen Walsh. Big one in towards the two-man inside forward line. Essentially the two corner forwards are playing in there, and as expected Declan Hannon has drifted out towards the half forward line, leaving space inside. Pa Cronin from out near the sideline. First of all, they keep it in play, Cork, but not able to get it under control completely there. Conor Lehane and his man, who's Tom Condon, digging in there, helped out by Gavin O'Mahony. O'Mahony almost out of the sideline and passing it forward here into space towards Hickey. There were two on him. Hickey against Tom Kenny. Kenny gets to it, slips the little hand pass outside to Lehane again, trying to make a shot for himself 50 metres out from the target. That's always going to the right of the post, however, and that was very much offline. He was picked to play left corner forward, but nobody quite expected that. He's right now somewhere about right half forward. Pat Horgan is somewhere between the full forward and the 40, and Cian McCarthy there as well. Jimmy Barry Murphy making some changes and switches.
Yeah, and Shane O'Neill has switched on to Declan Hannon, as we expected as well, to follow him out the field, more comfortable in a run and roll like that. And just have to say, so far the tackling of the Limerick defenders has been ferocious, but they're trying to crowd all that area around the midfield, and they're leaving two men inside, but they're not getting the ball into them. So I think they need to move that ball quicker and into space, into the smaller full forward, and high ball is no good.
Much to mull over for John Allen. Meanwhile, back with the action, and Shane O'Neill doing a marking job, as you say, on Declan Hannon. I just wonder if Brian Murphy had been fit to play, whether or not that might have been his role. We can only speculate.
Yeah, but I think that Graham Mulcahy and Sean Tobin inside for Limerick, they're not the biggest men in the world, and high ball into them is no good. They need to be playing into space, let them use their pace, and that hasn't happened so far, even though Limerick are winning plenty of possession out the field. Tobin
has been marked by Stephen McDonnell, and Conor O'Sullivan is on the other corner forward, who is Graham Mulcahy. Nicky Quaid to puck it out. Again going to the right half forward position, usual route. David Breen breaks it down, onto it quickly comes James Ryan, and if Breen doesn't get it, Ryan is never too far away to pick up the pieces. It came back there towards Paul Brown, well blocked down. Lorcan McLaughlin for Cork, the hand pass in there. Finally away by Pa Cronin. Big huge one down there towards Seamus Harnedy, couldn't get to it. Out instead comes Richie McCarthy, and McCarthy into a man who's in midfield here, and a chance for Wayne McNamara to launch it. Big long one down towards the corner forward. Tobin's in after it, knocked it down. Out comes the goalkeeper, Anthony Nash. Has a support player, it's Tom Kenny. Beats the attempted block, gets it as far as Christopher Joyce, operating in midfield. After him goes Donal O'Grady, but it's still Joyce. About to be hooked, but he did well to get it in as far as Harnedy, contains it very well, controls, pivots around and puts it over the bar. He'll be thrilled with that. Man who got 3 points from play in the semi-final against Clare gets one here, and it gets narrow. It's now Limerick 4, Cork 3.
Yeah, that's a great score, John. Christopher Joyce carried the ball, and a great ball in, but that came about from Wayne McNamara. He just hit a ball from his own half-back line aimlessly straight down the middle of the field with his corner forwards running off the ball, but Cork worked it very, very well up the field and punished him for that.
It was 4-1, right now 4-3. Back again comes Daniel Carney for Cork, trying his luck. And I think the inside forwards would have appreciated perhaps a better pass. That's 5 wides already by Cork.
Well, yeah, and Jimmy very, very annoyed on the sideline there, Ger, because, you know, ridiculous ball, really no chance of putting that ball over the bar, and, you know, he should have played it in. The full forward and look sharp, and they're getting the ball.
Nicky Quaid, third year playing in goal for Limerick, ready with this puck out, this time down towards James Ryan, breaks it. There's a player anticipating, it's Donal O'Grady, head first, lost his way, lost possession, and the clearance out of defence is by Joyce. Big one down to Harnedy again, can't get to it this time. 2 Limerick men are on him. Tom Condon is one of them. Condon's clearance to a totally unmarked Paul Brown. Who should be marking him? Paul Brown gets it away. There was a Hurley thrown. Didn't affect Paul Brown. That was a good hook there on Lorcan McLaughlin, and it's Declan Hannon who was ready to take off. Referee blows his whistle. It's got to be a free in, and Declan Hannon, who's got 2 points already in this match, has a further opportunity to put 2 between them. Yeah,
great hook there by Declan Hannon. Just watch him coming in, and, you know, he really is, to me, big game player. You know, he was out injured a couple of years ago, but great pick up here, down low, just bounced up into his hand, and Hurl pulled out of his hand a free in. But he's a player I think can have a huge influence in this game, and I wouldn't mind seeing him in around the edge of the square. I think he's very dangerous in there, but they're using him out the field at the moment.
So this is opportunity to get a third. That one he's missed. A virtually perfect day for hurling. It is very warm, and there's a light breeze into his face, which is bringing down the temperature for the players, which they'll welcome, I think, of just a little bit. Cork goes short again with the puck out. Conor O'Sullivan time and again is waiting for it. This one he gets, and this one he goes long with. Down to Cronin, and the team captain, Patrick Cronin, is fouled, and it's got to be a free in. So a chance for Cork to draw level.
Yeah, that's a great catch there by Pat Cronin over the head of Paddy O'Brien, and in fairness to Pat Cronin, over the last number of years, the criticism maybe of the Cork forwards, they can't win their own ball at times, but he certainly has stood up over the last 3-4 championships, and great catch. I think you'll see him being targeted a lot there today.
I think it was David Breen who caught him. Pat Horgan has got 1 point already, goes for a second one and puts it over the bar. Well, he got 8 points against Clare. 5 of those came from frees. He's deadly from any range there, around about 40-50 metres out. So 4 points apiece, teams level.
Yeah, and Cork seem to be up to the pace of the game now, Jared. They were a bit slow to start, but, you know, they've scored the last 3 points, and a bit of a mini comeback already early in the game, but they're winning lots of possession now again.
This time Paul Brown picks up the pieces, drives it in there towards Graham Mulcahy, being marked by O'Sullivan, and anticipating his Lorcan McLaughlin. Good tracking back by the number 8, giving a helping hand, and then way down. Almost came for Keane. Tom Condon comes out, helped on over there, and eventually it's Horgan, and Horgan, it starts out right and it moves inside the post, and it's over the bar. 3 for Horgan, and Cork lead by 5 points to 4, and they take the lead for the first time.
Yeah, Jaron, that's 3 points from play now from the full forward line. Pat Horgan has 2, Seamus Harnedy has 1, and they're causing an awful lot of trouble in there for the Limerick full back line.
Meanwhile, at the other end, it is Stephen MacDonald, who had his problems in the last match, but settling down here now, trying to get that ball away, out of danger. Helped out here by William Egan. Egan inside here towards Cian McCarthy, left it behind there to Wayne McNamara. Onto it quickly comes Seamus Hickey, and Limerick come back again, looking for another score of their own. Helped in here by the corner forward, fed forward by Wayne Mulcahy, but not to a colleague. And Cork can counter again, and it's all the way down once more towards Seamus Harnedy from St. Eata's, near Youghal in East Cork. Back over here as far as Park Cronin. Cronin hitting it in long towards Luke O'Farrell. O'Farrell knocks it down, but there are a couple of Limerick players there waiting for it. Richie McCarthy is one of them, about to be challenged by Horgan. Back onto his feet again, and Richie McCarthy, who hand passed one injudiciously earlier on, this time decides to belt it out, but I don't think he intended to belt it out of play. Line ball to Cork, taken quickly by Tom Kenny, and the referee says, hang on a while. And he's going to have a word and a look here, I think, at Park Cronin. And a word to the Cork captain, something that may have been said or done.
Yeah, I didn't see anything, Jared, but you'd have to say Cork have really upped the pace, and you can see them trying to speed it up there.
It's nearly 10 minutes now since Limerick last scored. And that's going to be a source of worry for John Allen and the mentors.
Yeah, and you saw Richie McCarthy with that last ball. Gavin O'Mahony was just outside him, a simple hand pass, and he pucked it out over the line, and they're certainly feeling the heat in that full back line.
It'll be Tom Kenny who'll take this, playing in his 7th Munster final match. Big, huge one in by Kenny. Inside to Harnedy. Spills around in there. Horgan's will do it. Across the face of goal and wide. A real goal chance for Cork. And Limerick in defence at 6s and 7s back there. Here it is again.
Good line ball in and just broken down. And Pat Horgan, just flicks out to him here. Very narrow angle. Did well actually to get the ball back across. And it's hard. I don't know how it didn't go in, but straight back across the goal and wide on the far post.
It's been said about Cork they don't score too many goals. Well, they nearly had a chance of one there. From the Limerick puck out, Lorcan McLaughlin is back around the half-back line at this stage, and one of the switches and changes. Picking it up here is Graham Mulcahy. He's got great pace. Still Mulcahy off his left-hand side and beautifully over the bar. Teams are level again. Level for the second time. Limerick 5, Cork 5, 17 and a half minutes are gone.
Yeah, and a great battle there. Conor O'Sullivan's super cornerback, but Mulcahy has great pace. He's very brave, and I think Limerick are a little bit confused. I think in terms of what they're trying to achieve, they need to get the ball in front of him. High ball in there is not going to work, and if he gets in front of him, he's going to cause damage.
From Anthony Nash's puck out to Tom Kenny, shortish. It might yield something at the other end. Again, it is Harnedy, and having difficulty with the youngster up there. Seamus Harnedy never played minor or under 21 for Cork. Big Munster final day for him. Big Munster final day for Donald O'Grady as well, as he gets that ball across to his midfield partner Paul Brown. Delivers it in quickly. Dangerous when goalkeeper comes. It was in that little corridor between goalkeeper and full back line. He did well. Gets it out here as far as Daniel Carney. Carney across field towards Cian McCarthy. Two SARS men combining, and at the end of it all, it's put wide by Cian McCarthy, playing in his 11th championship match. He's only ever scored 5 points. So clearly scoring is something he needs to be working on. 5-all still.
Yeah, that was a poor wide, great ball up by Anthony Nash to Daniel Carney. Another lovely crossfield ball, and see there are 7 wides from Cork to Limerick's 2, and it just shows you Cork are really in the last 10 minutes have taken over the game.
Taking over, but still level as Nicky Quaid pucks it out. And onto it quickly there came Shane O'Neill, needing some support, getting it from Pa Cronin. And Cronin is going from a long distance. It's going to drop short. It's spilled by Nicky Quaid. Richie McCarthy was required. Seamus Harnedy was almost into profit. A lapse by the goalkeeper. He got away with it. 2 goal chances for Cork now in the space of the last 5 minutes. Still no goals in this match. Limerick back into the attack again, but they lose it there, and it comes out as far as William Egan, helped on here as far as Daniel Carney, through the middle to Cian McCarthy, 65 metres from the target, inside towards Harnedy again. They wait for a little knockdown, and in the knockdown comes to Luke O'Farrell, and O'Farrell strikes and puts it over the bar. So another one over the bar by Luke O'Farrell, and it's now 6 points to 5.
Yeah, good refereeing there, Luke O'Farrell. And you could see Nicky Quaid before that ball came in. He was squinting up at the sun, had his hand over his eyes, and well done, Richie McCarthy got back. But very difficult for goalies. In the old days, we used to have the peak caps, but they're gone now with the helmets, and difficult for goalies on a sunny day.
They'll have to design something, I think. Gavin O'Mahony getting it out here to Tom Condon. Limerick needing a score. Up there towards James Ryan. Ryan trying to drag it in past Lorcan McLaughlin. Has a support player available if he wants to use him. Tobin's calling for it. Oh, it's just beyond him. Didn't reach him. And Carney's back helping out. He's got a great edge in the midfield there, in as far as Joyce. And Joyce drives it a good 70 metres way down the field. Harnedy did well to keep it in play. Horgan's availing of that tap back to him there. Off balance, somehow got a shot away and puts the ball wide. The umpire took a while to make his mind up on that one, and Pat Horgan is aggrieved, I think. He felt it was over.
Yeah, and they're asking him to check with the linesman. He was sure it was over the bar. No Hawkeye, obviously, here in Limerick, but Jerry, I'd have to say Cork seem to be absolutely flying fitness-wise. They're covering all over the Limerick forward line at the moment, and great catch again by David Breen.
Absolutely. David Breen advancing with some menace and clenching his fist. He does his job so well, the former captain. So good in the air. After him came William Egan, and Egan put in the stick there, caught him by the arm. Down went Breen, and the Napiershik man makes sure that there's a free to his team, and there's a yellow card there, which was given to the Cork man. I think it's the Lorcan McLaughlin who got the yellow card. And the free taken by Declan Hannon, and Hannon has put it over. 3 points for Declan Hannon, and the teams are level for the 3rd time, and it's a rip-roaring contest at the Gaelic grounds in Limerick. Limerick at home for the second time in this championship after their fantastic victory over one of the favourites, Tipperary. Short puck out once again as far as Conor O'Sullivan, on as far as William Egan, and incrementally they get it way down the field. Limerick coming to terms with that back there, and Seamus Hickey once again slips back, helps out. He's got tremendous energy and enthusiasm going forward again, stopped however this time by Tom right on the sideline, slips it back onto his left hand side and gets it away inside, helped on by Harnedy, in there as far as Luke O'Farrell. Once again it's Cork in charge here, and that final shot is by Seamus Harnedy. He's got one. Well, that's the way it's going to stay at the moment. Young man who'll be 23 on Wednesday, looking for an early birthday present of a first Munster winners medal. His mother, Cathy Landers, of course, was a tremendous camogie player who I think has something like 6 All-Ireland medals to her credit.
That's right, Ger. This tactic with Seamus Hickey, Ger, he's winning loads of possession, but he's running into trouble. Tom Kenny's just sitting back now and letting him run at him, and it's causing, there's no advantage at all to the Limerick forwards. Here's James Ryan now. And
Ryan has a look up that drives it in. There was a little tap on that one, stopped by Joyce from going in completely. Out comes Norcon McLaughlin, and he meant to be yellow carded in the game so far. Shane O'Neill away down, bit of a gap between the rest of the field and the Cork inside forward line, so a lot of space for them in which to manoeuvre. Line ball to be taken by Stephen Walsh, held on to by Paudie O'Brien. Once again it's Walsh, has a loose man, it's Paul Brown, needs a second go. 2 men advancing there to try and take it from him. Park Cronin and also Daniel Carney unable to get to it, helped forward by O'Brien there. Winning the race is Stephen MacDonald of Glen Rovers. First touch wasn't great, and he was glad to see William Egan come in and help him out. Good teamwork there by Cork at the back. One back again here by Wayne McNamara. 6 points apiece in the Munster final. Paul Brown trying to edge Limerick in front from a huge distance out, but he's put it to the right this time, and it's the third wide Limerick have had in this game. 24 minutes into the match, another short puck out here as far as Tom Kenny, ready to launch the next attack. Pressure on that Limerick full back line. They've been coping well enough now in the last few minutes. Tom Condon getting it away smartly out as far as David Breen. Good accurate hurling down there towards the dangerous Graham Mulcahy, stopped in his tracks by Conor O'Sullivan, and O'Sullivan is a wonderful tidy little cornerback here. Really terrific player, has been one of the best cornerbacks in the country I think in the last few years. All the way down to Harnedy, stopped by Richie McCarthy, who was outstanding in the semi-final, and McCarthy losing his stick, and the referee seeing Limerick losing their way and giving a free in to Cork from just outside the 20-metre line. So yeah, free in.
I think you can just see Richard McCarthy has a bit of a hold of Seamus Harnedy there. I think to say Limerick will be the happier after 25 minutes. Really, Cork have had around 9 wides at this stage. Their full forward line of 4 points from play scored. They're really crying out for the ball in there, and they've hit a few wides from out the field. But I think Limerick, as I was saying, Seamus Hickey, he's gone very deep, picking up the ball, then running with it, not delivering it into the full forward line. So I think they'll be happy that they're still in the game and it's all square at this stage.
Well, now what would Pat Organ consider here? I presume he's just going to try and tap it over the bar and give his side the lead. It's a bit of a distance out, and that's exactly what he does. He's got 4 for the afternoon so far, 2 from frees, 2 from play. Cork ease back into the lead again by 7 points to 6 in front of a packed house at the Gaelic grounds, where everybody has been enjoying the fare on offer. In case you joined us late, the minor match, which was a wonderful game between Limerick and Waterford, finished level, 2-19 apiece. From that puck out, it's Tom Kenny once again taking it, getting away, had the chance to give the easy hand pass. Now he gives it to Park Cronin, and Park Cronin, huge one. That was 60-70 metres out from the target, and it's a first of the day for Park Cronin, the 26-year-old from Bishopstown.
Yeah, lovely simple hand pass back by Tom Kenny, who's becoming more influential, and Park Cronin over the bar. And it's just interesting too, Jared, that Cork are trying to up the pace all the time. Quick puck out, quick line balls, anything they can do to up the pace. Obviously very confident in their fitness.
Meanwhile, route 1 for Limerick, and David Breen once again. 3 men in red are after him. David Breen takes an awful lot of steps, and eventually the referee blows the whistle, indicts the Cork men and gives the free in. Breen, I think, was lucky.
Yeah, well, see now he takes it back in his hand here. There's an arm in around there. Yeah, he pulled his hurl, and in fairness, good call. I think it was William Egan coming back. Just a little tug there on the hurl. You often see them getting away with it. And will Hannon go for it now?
This is the question. It's a nice central position for him. His team 2 points behind. Still very much in the first half, and he's happy to put it up and over the bar, and he's got 4 points, same as Pat Horgan. His 4 points made up of 1 from play and 3 from frees, and it's 8 points to 7. Anybody's match. Next puck out to be taken by Anthony Nash, and this time Limerick have still left the 2 corner backs free if Anthony Nash wants to give it to them, but the goalkeeper changes his plan, and a long one down towards Park Cronin. Coming in and picking it up here, Pat Horgan, looking to try and get some space for himself, aware that he was going to be hooped. Lovely defensive work here by Limerick. Donal O'Grady back helping out. Hand pass away here as far as Wayne McNamara. McNamara ready to go through 3-4 Cork players. 3 converging on him right now. Another one just a metre or so away, finally losing it. And Tom Kenny flights it back in once again towards the big man Harnedy. Seamus Harnedy once again takes on Richie McCarthy. McCarthy, however, gets the stick in there, and it's a stalemate situation which ends in a foul on the Limerick player and a free out for the Shannon Siders. 1 between them.
Yeah, that was great play there by Richie McCarthy. He was under fierce pressure on his knees and lost possession, then managed to get it back again and won the free. And great play, inspirational play by Richie McCarthy. Back
once again, Daniel Carney, Cork's midfielder, in over the head of Condon, in as far as Harnedy, and Harnedy makes space for himself and puts it over the bar. He's got another one. 2 points from open play now by Seamus Harnedy, who's playing just his 2nd ever championship match, and he's made it 9 points to 7. In over the head of Tom Condon that time, and then Harnedy got back goal side, made an angle, took a good score.
Yeah, Jared Player came out in over this year, and he looks like he's been playing championship hurling all his life. Absolutely outstanding.
He's
so far
part of a very good UCC squad. Meanwhile, back come Limerick and Donal O'Grady. Back as far as Paul Brown. Brown has enough room now to swing this stick and enough time to put it over the bar. Beautifully over. So 9 points to 8. 29 minutes are gone.
And Paul Brown, I think that's about the 3rd chance he's had, and you wouldn't get an easier run than that over the bar. Good score.
So Nash once again now, ready with the puck out. John Allen surveying the scene here. We think that Tom Kenny may have got himself a yellow card immediately after that. Right now it's Cian McCarthy playing on the 40. In there as far as Christopher Joyce. Joyce had a go, was half hooped, managed to get it back here, and it's back as far as Park Cronin. Not the best of clearances by Limerick, and the final shot by Park Cronin is one he'll be disappointed with. Stays at 9 points to 8.
Yeah, it looked like Richie McCarthy there, I think, Ger, with a great block, very brave. And you'd have to say Cork have created maybe 3 or 4 half goal chances in the first half and hit some bad wides, and they'll be wondering how they're not maybe further ahead. But here's Christopher Joyce breaking inside, and just watch Richie McCarthy, very brave, come out there in front of it.
Christopher Joyce, the player who only made his debut against Offaly last year, so right in the thick of the action. Right now it's Lorcan McLaughlin in as far as William Egan. Back into the centre to Park Cronin. Suddenly Limerick are very lax in their marking and allowing people like Park Cronin to get into good positions from which they're availing of the opportunity to put it over the bar. His 2nd point in this half, and he stretches it out to a 2 points advantage for the Leesiders once again. 5 minutes to go to half time. Nicky Quaid pucks it out down on top of that Cork half back line. It was Seamus Hickey trying to add to it there. In came Christopher Joyce once again, couldn't quite get it under control as he was hoping to do so. He's got remarkable energy playing in midfield. He's been up and down the field, Joyce. That line ball is into Limerick's Paul Brown, and Paul Brown hits it to the left this time, and a disappointing finish for him. His team still 2 points behind.
That's a very poor wide jar, sorry, but Donal O'Grady was loose outside him, nobody near him within 30 yards, and all he did was slip a little pass over to him, and I think that's about the 3rd wide that Paul has had now.
Well, Cork seem to have abandoned the short puck outs in the last 5 minutes. They're going long. That time the target was Pat Horgan, but didn't quite get, or Pat Cronin didn't quite get to it. Back in by Brown, one into the danger man Declan Hannon, back up onto his hands and knees, stopped, and Shane O'Neill takes it away towards Park Cronin. 2 Cork men going towards the one ball. Eventually neither got it, and Stephen Walsh able to get in behind them and to clear down towards Breen once again, who's got a little bit of work to do to try and make it his, competing there with Daniel Carney. Carney getting it onto his stick, And Carney looking at the target, flighting it in, stopped well by the goalkeeper Nicky Quaid. Really caught it well. That's a fine save. Got it out as far as Gavin O'Mahony. Sun in the eyes, good clearance, and Limerick are back into the attack again. And it is James Ryan hitting it from 65 metres out, but he puts it to the left, and it's a missed opportunity, and it's Limerick's 5th wide.
Yeah, you have to say, Ger, some of the wides taking the buzz out of the game a little bit. You know, they're great play there up the field, and James Ryan, great catch by Nicky Quaid, which started very brave. And really, bad wides with under no pressure at all from 50. That should be able to put them over the bar.
Well, Nicky Quaid's dad, Tommy, played in 5 Munster finals, 1-3. Late Tommy, so sadly missed. Limerick on the attack. And Limerick's Shawnee Tobin has his first scoring opportunity to put it over the bar. And everybody in the inside forward line now for Limerick has scored from open play. And now they're within a point again. It's 10 points to 9 as a result of this latest point by the Maru Bohor players, only 23 years of age.
And I think Limerick will be looking for more of that type of play. Great snappy ball right in front of Shawnee Tobin, and he can do that all day if he gets the right ball.
Well, balanced delicately at this stage, both sides having their periods of supremacy. Richie McCarthy there, having difficulty with Seamus Harnedy, but he's done well to come back. Maybe not a challenge he was anticipating having today. Seamus Hickey, as ever, foraging deeply, all the way up as far as Declan Hannon. Across goes Shane O'Neill to him. Hannon goes in on the end line. O'Neill tries to force the ball away, does well enough to try and stymie the attacker. Hannon's still there. Difficult situation for Cork to contend with. Possibilities for Limerick. Finally in the end it's Lochal McLaughlin who gets it out as far as Chris Joyston, a Piercing player, steps away from the trouble presented there by James Ryan. The hand pass by Cronin across the space to Daniel Carney, and the 23-year-old SARS man deep inside his own half lets it off long down towards Luke O'Farrell. 2 Limerick players are there against him, however, and one of them is the indefatigable Richie McCarthy. Nothing to stop him getting that ball out as far as the hard-working Wayne McNamara. Held on to brilliantly by Seamus Hickey in spite of the attention of Tom Kenny. On as far as Donal O'Grady. Can they finish with a score here? Back goes Cronin with the challenge, and the referee penalises Cronin. Great spell of play. Cork still in front by a point, but maybe not for much longer.
Yeah, Ger, what a passage of play. Donal O'Grady fouled there, but you'd have to say some of the battles here, the duels, Richie McCarthy and Seamus Harnedy. Harnedy has got 2 points, but Richie McCarthy is having an unbelievable game, and Shane O'Neill, there you saw him there covering Declan Hannon coming in. They're having a great battle. Conor O'Sullivan and Graham Mulcahy, another great battle, and it's a fantastic game. It's finally balanced at the moment.
It may well finish this first half as it started level. Declan Hannon has got 4 so far. Now he's got 5, and the teams are locked together at 10 points apiece. Terrific Munster final, level for the 4th time, and the game is now about to go into 1 minute of injury time. It's got to be Cork out, and once again Anthony Nash looking around, going short. Back to the old plan A or plan B, take your pick. Conor O'Sullivan down towards Cian McCarthy, being well marked however by Gavin O'Mahony. In as far as James Ryan gets loose from Lochal McLaughlin and has that chance to get it in there as far as Harnedy. Balances it on his stick, then shows some lovely craft and trick work, but then comes O'Neill, who's seen it all before, to try and block his route to goal, and in the end the referee decides that Shane O'Neill was fouled, and it's going to be a free out for Cork, and we're already 15 seconds into stoppage time.
Great first touch there by Declan Hannon. That's the second or third time he's makes it look so easy, but Shane O'Neill, brilliant corner back. He's a great defender, and he stuck with him, and great example I think there to young players. No panic, and just kept goal side and blocked him off. And
the referee saw the hand there of Hannon catching O'Neill. Good refereeing by James McGrath, and the referee again blows his whistle, this time with Paudie O'Sullivan down on the ground inside that circle, and he's calling across. It's a red card to Pat Horgan. Pat Horgan has been sent off. Let's just see what happened again here now. There's the foul.
The ball hit him in the head. Pat Horgan slapped in the back of the head, but the ball actually hit him in the forehead. That's why he went down.
Well, what do you think?
Well, I just got such a shock because I knew straight away that the ball had hit him in the forehead. That's why he went down. I didn't see the flick coming in from behind until just now. So,
well, for that tap in the back of the head there of the wing back Paudie O'Brien, the referee has given the red card to Pat Horgan. It certainly upsets the balance of this match, which was balanced very delicately. A lot for Jimmy Barry Murphy now and his selectors to contemplate. They're going to play the second half with 14 men. It'll be advantage Limerick, surely, you would imagine. But right now, as the teams go off to their respective dressing rooms, with a very bemused Pat Horgan explaining it there to Dr. Con Murphy as to what happened on a very, very sunny afternoon in Limerick, plans are being hatched. We're in for a very fascinating second half. Lots of analysis on the first half in a moment, but at half-time here, it's Limerick 10, Cork 10. We're back after this.
Centra, sponsors of the GAA Hurling Championship.
It's the big finale of The Big Bang Theory, and you can see it here before anyone else.
Wow! Monkeys went to space.
Well then, sweetie, shut up.
Cheers!
See it first, The Big Bang Theory. Thursday at 7 on RTE2 and RTE2 HD.
After generations of brewing, you know how to craft the perfect pint. Experience is what you do with it that counts.
At Super Value, we believe in value and in making saving simple with over 2,000 items in our Super Value range. Like Super Value Burger Buns, $1.29, Super Value Tomato Ketchup, $1.10, and our Super Value range 1 litre squashes, $1.29. We believe in value. Save every day with the Super Value range.
One hotel, one price? Nah. Every website has a different price, but with Trivago, you find the best one. Hotel Trivago.
I think we're lost.
Don't worry, I'm a smartphone, okay? I am good with maps.
If your smartphone doesn't come with a smart plan, it's not smart, it's thick.
Impossible, there's squiggly lines all over this thing.
They're roads.
Recalculating.
Switch to Meteor Bill Pay and get 5 gigs of data, which is shed loads, plus all calls and all text to all networks, all for just €49 a month.
So then we're at half-time in this year's Munster hurling final between Limerick and Cork, and it's all square at 10 points apiece. Surifar, Liam Sheedy, Ger Lachlan here with me in studio. Ger, we had 2 games last night, both went to extra time. Now there can't be extra time, I know, in this game today, but at the same time there's nothing to choose between them.
No, not right now, and we'd have drawn the minor match as well.
Of course, yes.
Just before this, but really on the scoreboard there's nothing to choose between the two of them, but really Cork should be 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 points ahead by now, because Limerick started off as we expected with terrific fire and passion in their play, led by 4 points to 1 after 7 minutes. Their work rate was absolutely fantastic. Then the Cork half-back line and midfielder just completely took over. Now Hannon was far out, and all they had inside them were 2 small forwards, Mulcahy and O'Brien. They just weren't strong enough for any ball went in. And Cork laid siege to the goal here just beside us. Had 2 great goal chances, missed those. The movement of the Cork forwards was absolutely fantastic. And really the man who held Limerick together in that first half was Richie McCarthy at full-back. Even though he was on Hardy who scored 2 points. But he was everywhere. Sometimes he was like the little Dutchman with his finger on the dike most of the time. Now, Limerick's tactics were just terrible. Have they not learned from Kilkenny that you don't leave your 2 cornerbacks? You don't leave the Cork 2 cornerbacks free for the puck out so that the goalie can give it them, and then he pokes it in over the half-forward line. And next thing, you're in danger territory. So very naive at the start, but Limerick are just hanging in there. Getting frees, half hour line not scoring, Seamus Hickey moving back into his own half, driving forward with the ball, but still at the same time, Cork should have at least 4 or 5 more points got in that first half.
The show, but Liam Sheedy, Limerick got a boost just before half time there with the sending off, of course, of Pat Horgan.
Yeah, it's going to be
What did you make of this?
Well, it's going to be one of the big moments of the match, in that first half, because, the game is finally poised at 10 points off. I mean, for anyone looking at home, they may not realise how strong the sun is actually facing into that goal. On numerous occasions, it nearly caught out Nicky Quaid. I mean, it's the flat of the hurley. I definitely don't think there was any malicious. It's a tap. It absolutely warranted the yellow card. It wasn't on the ball, but I didn't feel at any stage. I don't think it was a bad pull or a malicious pull. I don't think there was any intent there to hit Paddy O'Brien in the back of the head. I think that's a very, very harsh call. I watched the Cork management went to the referee at half time. I think they definitely felt it was harsh, and it could have a big bearing on the game.
This is the old issue, Cyril, the referee is not there to decide whether your man intended to do it or not. The referee is there to decide whether he actually hit him or not.
Well, he did hit him, but it was only a slap at the side of the horn. But Michael, the funny thing is, going in there now, as Ger said, Cork should be well up. They're getting goal chances, their forwards are great, lovely space. Limerick now will figure they have the 15 men and a little bit of breeze behind them, but sometimes 14 men can play as well, and it might actually suit. Okay, Cork won't have the space, they won't have the minnow take the sharp hook out, but you could actually find that their forwards will get more space up the other end, because they are very good touch hurler. They've missed 2 goal chances, and they should be in front. Now Limerick they're hanging in, they're heroic on the ball, but they're doing daft things with it in, but it's still anyone's game. But Limerick wouldn't want to think they have a little bit of a breeze, they have the extra man, but they're still going to take some. It's still going to take some win in this game, because Cork have very good hurlers up front.
You're all agreed that Limerick are kind of hanging into this game from the evidence of the first half, but they did make a very good start to the game, Chair.
That's what the thing. You see, they started so well, and as Limerick usually do, they start with this real drive and passion, contesting every ball, men putting their life on the line. To drive past men. That's Declan Hannon there, who, as we expected, played about 50 yards out from goals. A terrific point there. Now, the one man who was winning the high ball for Limerick is David Breen over on the far wing. Now here it comes to Donald O'Grady, I think, and James O'Brien. The only score from the half-hour line was from James O'Brien. Now you see, in a way that shows how Limerick have faded out of the game, because that is the only score that half-hour line has got in the first half. Now again, they were creating the overlap. Paul Brown here, and simple shot, put it over the bar. They were hurling really well at that stage. The way we expect them to play for the full 35 minutes. But after that, they see a lull come into that play. And once Cork spotted that lull, especially in the half-back line, in their own half-back line and midfield, they literally took over and they used the ball really, really well. I think that's the difference. It's the use of the ball by Cork in that first half towards the way Limerick used it. That is what brought about the change in Cork's form.
It's the Munster hurling final of 2013, the second half, right after this break.
Have you got a second? Jump in, I tell you.
Don't do it.
Documentaries and news would be where I would watch it.
If members of Congress aren't behaving,
It's just such a proud moment for the whole country.
That was just amazing. I cried.
One Direction.
I wouldn't go so much for TV, but radio.
Ed Hicks.
The radio's always on the car, The quality's gone through the roof.
There's something there for everybody.
It's your licence fee that makes quality Irish programmes and services possible.
And now over to Diane with the weather.
Diane?
Scalpel. Scalpel!
The Bahamas. 2 weeks on me.
I saw her dancing there by the record machine. I knew she must have been about 17. The beat was going strong, playing my favorite song. She was with me, yeah, singing I love rock and roll. So put another time in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll.
Doritos, for fun, a little Mexican.
Welcome back to the Sunday Game Live, and a reminder that at half-time the sides are level. Limerick 10 points, Cork 10 points. Cyril, it did take Cork a while to settle down into that first step, but when they did, they really started to hit some lovely points.
Yeah, once they get ball, Michael, they are creating scoring chance up front, and they're very, very risky forwards. Like Pat Horgan, see this ball here going in now. They're going to teach a long ball in. They're on top of this stage midfield, having a little look around. No one coming to them. Little flick inside here. Up very good in there. Swivel left or swivel right, bang over the bar. Horgan, Pat Cronin, Harnedy, Luke O'Farrell, these lads, they're all very good hand. They're good wristy hurlers. Again, this another long ball here, which I think wouldn't suit them. But every time it goes in high, it's very dangerous. It's break around the place. Great catch, a little flick here.
Of course, the sun was into the Limerick defender's eyes as well.
Just here, there's no way he's going to miss that. Little flick left, right, over the bar. Like, if they get, I know they've only 14 men the second half, Mike, but you'll find that it'll be hard enough to hold them down because they love kind of space. They'll have more space with 5. So it'll be up to Limerick to create. Here's Pat Cronin, left, long way out, about 65 yards out over the bar. He's capable of doing this. He'll probably come out and help out in the midfield the second half. But even though they're 14, they're still in the game because they're very, very risky forwards. And Limerick wouldn't want to think to have it won just because of the 15 men. Because I have just a feeling Cork will get the space, and they missed 2 great goal chances that could have a big bearing on the game.
They did miss 2 great goal chances, Liam. Let's have a look at them.
Yeah, they did, and a goal at any stage in that first half would have been huge for them. And I mean, they had 10 wides. They really will be wondering how they're just level at half time. And long balls in, this is really where the danger was. And Patrick Horgan pulls in the ball, and you just couldn't see how the ball went wide. And actually, Seamus Harnedy nearly got a flick to it when it came back across again. But it managed to stay out, and luckily so, And this time, Cork have hit in a lot of wasteful ball, but at the same time they've put in a long ball, and there looks to be no danger here. But obviously the sun is a big factor again. Just gets caught up in there, and fairness to Richie McCarthy, as said, they've had a real battle there on the edge of the square, Seamus Harnedy and Richie McCarthy. But it was cool as ice. Just takes the ball off the line and moves it on out the side. Yeah. He's been coming out with a lot of ball in that first half. He's a big player for them today. Big player.
Yes, Limerick had a chance to do themselves, Ger.
Yeah, they have. It's scarce enough now, the chances. Most of the
early
danger,
on in the half. Indeed.
Early on, yeah, but most of the danger is coming from far out. And David Breen is the man who's really the only catcher. We'll say that about him. Now he breaks through here, but look at the lack of support there is. What I noticed about him, twice he broke through, and a desperate lack of support to the left and right. No man coming his outside, no man across at the other side of the square, giving him very little option but to shoot himself. Now, they probably have a bit more space in the second half. Of course, the big question is, what will Cork do now? How will Limerick use the extra man?
How will Limerick use the extra man?
And then how will Cork cope with that? And haven't been in that position with Cork before, because I was with Galway one year, I think it was 2008, and before half-time, Donlow Cusick was sent out for Cork. And Galway were 4 points ahead at half-time. And they came out in the second half like men possessed, Cork did. And they started this running game. Cathal Knock was brought in for running, and they all retreated, and then they ran with the ball, ran at the defence with the ball, and they won the game by 2 points in the end. So, Cork will be very peeved over this decision, and it could really fire them on to give a huge display in the second half.
Well, there was no doubt, Cyril, because we saw them going in at half-time, and clearly they were annoyed at the manner in which their player was sent off.
They were, yeah, but there's no other question. But I know when they get inside, Jim Barry Murphy cooled them down. He's sent off, there's nothing he can do about it. You saw Brian Cody last night. remember the point in the last second that wasn't given. He was peeved for a second, but then got control of himself. There's still is a game here to be won. Seamus Hickey in the first half has come very deep for Limerick, Michael. He's got good ball, but he's been deep. He's gone up the pitch, but then he's been depossessed and he's going back down the pitch again. He'd have to make better use of the ball, let it go in time, or else kind of draw a man and give a pass that the lads put over the bar, because they have chances. Now it's going to be a big plus. As Ger said, what are they going to do with the extra man? Where do they play the extra man? That'd be interesting.
Right, Liam Sheedy, how would you do with the extra man?
Yeah, well, I think I'd play him around the half back line and get him sweeping. And I mean, sometimes you find if you play them too deep, they won't get in the action. And the one thing Cork have is lovely hurlers. They'll pick out their men. They won't be keeping the extra man busy. So you really have to decide who's it going to be and create the space for them. But you know, Limerick have got a really good opportunity. You know, I mean, they're in the dressing room now. They're a man up. They're, 17 years since they won the Munster title. They have a huge opportunity. They really should push on in this match now.
That the extra man, they should do it.
And I never thought I'd say it today on the beautiful sunshine day that we have, but it is quite a strong breeze in actual fact here at the Gaelic grounds. All right, it's time for us to head back to the commentary box to rejoin Ger and Michael.
Thank you very much indeed. It's certainly a fair old breeze today, Michael, as you say. We're just taking a check on substitutions, and Jamie Collin has come in for Cork, so he joins the Cork attack. The 14 men making a change. In case you've joined us late, Patrick Horgan sent off just before half-time. Players has had an impeccable disciplinary record. I think unlucky to be sent off, but the rules are rules, and off he went. Park Roden back as far as William Egan. That's all the way down towards the new man who's in there. Might well have come in place of Luke O'Farrell. Not 100% sure about that. We'll just see in a moment. Waiting confirmation. It's Cian McCarthy, in fact, who has gone off the Cork team. And he's been replaced by Jamie Collin, who's number 24. And there's, in the thick of the action, Seamus Hannity leaving it here as far as Park Ronan. And the player, you can't tell at this stage who the extra player is and how he's been used, because there are a lot of extra players. And that final shot is by Conor Lehan. He's had a very disappointing match so far. This is a young man who's only 20 years of age, had a great start to the league campaign last year. So much was expected of him at that stage, but I think defenders have got to know his style, tightened up on him, and he's got a lot to learn and to get through. He's a good player. Back come Limerick and Graham Mulcahy, and that one flies over the bar. Limerick's first attack of the second half, and straight away it's Limerick who'll go back into the lead. The 15 men leading by 11 points to 10.
Yeah, well broken down there, and again maybe half a chance on if he kept going with that to bury it in the net, but taps it over the bar, and it looks like Stephen Walsh, the right corner back, is the loose man. He's just sweeping in front of the full back line. Great catch by Donald O'Grady.
And O'Grady playing it in here, and it's cut again by Mulcahy. 2 points so far, looking for another one. He's put it wide this time. Well, they will get the chances. They'll have that breeze behind them, and they have the extra man. And of course Cork having to play with 14 in blazing heat here in Limerick. It's going to be tough.
It is indeed, Ger, and I think interesting now Limerick have gone back to an orthodox full forward line, and the plan is obviously get the ball in there as quick as they can.
Well, they are unchanged, but right now it is Cork who are trying to launch another attack. Up in the middle of the park, Donald O'Grady leaving it there to Daniel Carney. However, Carney putting Cork back in, down towards Collin, and this is Jamie Collin out over the sideline, and that's going to be a line ball to Cork. Jamie Collin, who did well when he came on as a sub here against Clare in the last match, had hip surgery during the winter time, missed the entire Alliance League. Very talented young attacker. Not a good ball, however, from him straight to Stephen Walsh, and the man who was virtually free to mark nobody in particular. Sweep at the back, gets it as far as Shawnee Tobin, and Tobin challenged there by Lachlan McLaughlin, and McLaughlin, who's got a yellow card for the first half, has to be careful. Nothing terribly sinister in this, but just gets tangled in the arm there of Shawnee Tobin, and it's a free which will be taken by Declan Hannon. And he'll be hoping to have lots of opportunities now. Cork don't have their free taker, the usual free taker anymore, remember. That was Patrick Horgan. He's got off. Hannon's got 4 from 5 so far from those frees. This from 40 metres out, central position. And straight as you could wish. Start of the second half then. He's got a 6-point, and Limerick lead by 2.
Yeah, and actually, Jaron, looking there, Richie McCarthy's actually gone loose now, the full back, and one thing you have to be careful of, with that extra man at the back is that, lads are committed to marking their men, and that the loose man, sometimes he gets caught between the two of them, who's going for the ball. Limerick have really started very, very well in the second half.
Wonderful catch by Wayne McNamara. Back into the attack they go again. Stopped by Shane O'Neill, however, right on the sideline here. Gets that ball away from his man, beats the attempted block there, sends it back down, but stopped by Paddy O'Brien. Man who got the first point of this match, stepped out over the sideline, and the linesman on the near side, who is Barry Kelly from Westmeath, with his flag raised immediately. The two linesmen today, Barry Kelly and Brian Gavin, both men were in action last night in Thurles. That was a very good catch by Wayne McNamara just moments earlier. A young man from Adair who is playing in his 5th championship season. William Egan's going to take this. Much stronger performer this year, having won his place back at left half back. Cutting it in over the head of Colin. Caught well here. Back out in the glorious sunlight, out to Wayne McNamara. McNamara down into the corner forwards once again. In there towards Shawnee Tobin. Graham Mulcahy was trying to arrive, and Stephen MacDonald is the one who emerges with it. Uses the ball intelligently, plays it as far as Christopher Joyce. Joyce back up onto his feet again. The referee didn't give a free, gave an advantage if there was one to accrue, and there wasn't. Cork have it again, the crowd from Cork booing because there was no free given, and Limerick are able to attack once more all the way down towards Graham Mulcahy, coming across here to collect it again. The very tidy Shane O'Neill, accurately in as far as Daniel Carney, makes some room for himself, gets away from David Breen's would-be hoop. Nicely across here towards Luke O'Farrell, a point scorer in the first half. This time Tom Condon comes in, and this time the referee is pointing for the free, but he's also had words out of camera there with a couple of players. Notebook is out just to record that.
Yeah, and Jerry, you commented there on, you know, given the advantage, and it's a fine line at times. You know, I think when you're down to 14 men in a game like this in that heat, I think Cork prefer to get their free and trust Pat Horgan from 80 or 90 yards rather than, you know, a 50-50 ball. Oh, if he was here, sorry.
He's not here.
He's gone. Full Pat there. Who's taking over the frees now?
Over, yeah. Well, right now, Jamie Colin standing over it. And from Newtown Shandrum, striking it off the left and doing a Patrick Horgan in it and getting the first point of the second half for Cork and first point of the match for him. So it's back to a point once again, 12-11. And now there's another change, and Cathal Naughton is coming in place of Conor Lehan, who never really settled to the tempo of this match today. So in comes Cathal Naughton. You heard Ger Loughnane talking about his influence the last time that Cork were down to 14 against Galway some years ago in Thurles in a qualifier. Mulcahy almost being too clever that time. Back as far as James Ryan, and James Ryan drives it brilliantly over the bar. A point in each half now for the Gary Spillane player, taking the pass back there and making absolutely certain and putting two between them again.
Yeah, very good score, John. James Ryan's been very good since the start of the game. He's working very hard, and 2 great points now for play as well.
Cork having to use their bench because they're down to 14, and it's down. That was Mulcahy with the block on as far as Lochal McLaughlin. Now Naughton. He's been very sparingly used by Cork management teams in recent years. Has a lot to show. That one is a little under hit because there was a partial block on it. But this is a man with enormous reserves of pace. And if he gets going, and if he's in that mood, he can be quite irresistible.
Well, he can, Jared. That's the great thing he has, is that pace and the great finisher off his left side normally, but that's terrible. Here's Conor O'Sullivan with a great block down. Graham Mulcahy stood up to hit the ball, and he won't get away with that at this level.
Once again, the challenge there is strong. And this time it's Lochal McLaughlin, picked at midfield, playing in the half-back line, in as far as Park Cronin. Cronin has gone deep for the second half. Cork have had to use just a 2-man inside forward line. And it'll be an inside forward line of Jamie Colin and also Luke O'Farrell. And that was Colin there. And once again called into action to take a free from virtually the same position that he put over the bar just a few minutes earlier. Well, then he made it 12-11. Now can he put one between them again?
Super free the first time, Jared, from a very difficult angle, and this is another very difficult one.
Pressure is on him. Can he repeat it? He can. That's a great free. Brilliantly put over by Jamie Colin, who will have been a bit disappointed, I think, not to have started this match. Had a good game, I thought, when he came on against Clare. So now it's 13 points to 12. It's advantage in Limerick, but this is the Munster final 2013. Limerick on home territory, roared on by a big crowd here. Huge following from Cork as well, making the journey. Paul Brown leaving it, helped out here by Shawnee Tobin, and Tobin 20 metres out, hits it over. 2 points for Tobin. Really good play by the Murray Boher player. 14 points to 12. Good response by Limerick.
Yeah, great turn of pace there by Shawnee Tobin, shortened the grip and over the bar, and himself and Graham Mulcahy now getting more and more onto the ball and looking very dangerous inside the Limerick full forward.
Cork goes short out of defence. William Egan now back in there towards Cronin. Can't take it. Not initially anyway. Luke O'Farrell. Back in there was Seamus Hickey as well. It bounces around it. Oh, the referee got in the way of Wayne McNamara. And in the end, the player down on the deck there is Seamus Hickey. Well, it's helter-skelter stuff here. That was Cathal Naughton, and that was the final wraparound challenge there, which fell the Limerick man. Down went Hickey.
Yeah, I think the hurl swung around there and caught him maybe on the side of the head as well. And it was not malicious again, but he did get a good shot there. And
well, the medical team are in attending to Hickey. Concerned Jimmy Barry Murphy, man who led Cork to victory in the All-Ireland series back in 1999. A wonderful young team that year. And the Cork fans and the Limerick fans responding, and they raised the decibel level. And is there anywhere in the sporting world that you would wish to be right now other than the centre of the universe for the hurlers, the Gaelic grounds here in Limerick? Free to Limerick to be taken by Gavin O'Mahony from a huge distance inside his own 65-metre line, and they can't contain it in spite of the best efforts of David Breen in there. And the big man went down under the challenge. Puck out to Cork, who trail by 2, but there's loads of time left. We're only 11 minutes into the second half, and Limerick are about to make a big change, their first big change, and Shane Dowling is about to come on for David Breen. I wonder if this could be a match-winning move. He starred when he came on against Tipperary, and there he is, number 20. He's gone in around the middle of the field trying to influence things, but right now it's Cork who've got possession, and it's Daniel Carney. 14 men of Cork against 15 from Limerick, sending off of Pat Horgan just before half-time. Back comes Stephen Walsh, driving it down the field there, down towards Shawnee Tobin. Real race for possession with Stephen McDonnell, and the linesman Brian Gavin from Offaly pointing in the direction of the Cork goal, so it'll be a Limerick sideline ball. In no particular hurry to take it. It'll be Seamus Hickey who'll go across and hit this next one. Ahead by 2, trying to maximise every opportunity they've got. If they change their minds, they're leaving it for Gavin O'Mahony to take. Gavin has done a lot of very good hurling at coaching of hurling in Mary I here in Limerick, along with Eamon Cregan. Eamon was part of the backroom team for the Limerick Miners today, who played a wonderful game against Waterford, a match which was drawn. Between them here, Limerick in front in the Munster final. Gavin O'Mahony, again they're taking their time about it. Bit early for doing that. All the way in, broken down. They try to get it away. Shane O'Neill's after it. Gets it away, uses possession well as far as Park Cronin. They're not just belting it anywhere, they're trying to place a colleague down towards down towards Colin there, Jamie Colin, but he had 2 men on him. The extra man at the back for Limerick, always going to be important. In as far as Paul Brown. Brown back up there once again, up towards Hannon. Hannon almost getting loose for a moment, and then a couple of Cork defenders converge on him, and one of them is Stephen McDonnell, who got that ball away, out towards Lochran McLaughlin, keeps it in play, hits it along 50 metres down towards Seamus Harnedy, with a very good first stop, being marked by Stephen Walsh in the second, and Walsh fouled him that time. It's a free to Cork. Harnedy's pumped up, trying to gee up the Cork following here as well in Limerick. Part of the big occasion of Munster final day.
Yeah, and Jared, that's 2 or 3 frees, nearly in the same position that the Limerick defence have given away. And when they have the extra man back there, really, there's no need. Even if he won possession there, he's gone away from the goals. Tom Condon gave away a couple, Stephen Walsh there. And you have to say they're keeping Cork in the game, because Cork would just pulled them down there needlessly. And you see the crowd refereeing it there as well. But, you know, really, you'd expect Limerick. Shane Dowling, you mentioned there, coming on there now. You said Jamie Coughlin was disappointed, but Shane Dowling must have been the most disappointed man in Ireland when he wasn't played, and he has a point to prove, but it's a very, very warm day out there and he's not the most mobile, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
Jamie Coughlin once again, 2 so far from 2 frees. The angle's a little bit better on this one. Can he make it 3 in a row? This one he has put wide. It was easier, it seemed, than the other 2. Shake of the head there. Only 21 years of age. It'll be a puck out for Limerick, who lead by 14 points to 12. 14 minutes gone in the second half. Lots of time remaining. Sun into the eyes of the Cork defenders right now as Carney went up for it. Runs on towards Egan instead, and William Egan from Kilbrinn. Down into space, but there are lots of Limerick players there waiting for it. The one who took it was Wayne McNamara. Not a great clearance, but one back nonetheless by the new man in, Shane Dowling. In tight toward 2 Artskull Reishmen, ex-colleagues in that college, and that's beautifully over the bar by Declan Hannon, who's now got 7 points in this Munster final, and Limerick lead by 3, and there are 50 minutes gone.
Yeah, that's a super point. Good ball in by Shane Dowling. Great catch by Declan Hannon. What a battle he's having with Shane O'Neill. You know, he's had a couple of other half chances of getting through on goal, but Shane O'Neill has done very well on him, and both of them playing very well. But Hannon, you know, is going to become more influential. He's a very, very good player.
Cork trying to respond. They've got just 2 points in the second half so far in the quarter of an hour played. It's advantage Limerick, and it's James Ryan playing it back here to Wayne McNamara, and the 15 men trying to impose themselves a little bit more on Cork, but back goes Conor O'Sullivan, not for the first time in Championship hurling, linking up with his goalkeeper. Clever use of possession, but then the final ball out of defence goes straight to Paul Brown of Limerick, pursued there by Christopher Joyce. Brown slipping it inside, poor ball. His wing mirror, I think, was showing a Limerick player, but instead it was a Cork man who got it. But it runs kindly this time to James Ryan. Back in here as far as Dowling. Deliver the last pass to Hannon. Goes for this one himself and puts it over the bar. An immediate impact is made by Shane Dowling. And Dowling, who is just 20 years of age, gets his first and makes it 16 points to 12. And is this game now very firmly turning around in Limerick's direction? From that puck out, it's won once again here by Paulie O'Brien out over the sideline. Those couple of scores now are really robbing the morale of Cork, and you can almost see Cork's morale crumbling very noticeably.
I agree with you, missing that free, it would have brought it back to 14-13, and then Limerick go down the field and score 2 great points. And James Ryan again so involved at centre forward. Lovely little hand pass to Shane Dowling and over the bar. And here we have Conor Ellis coming in as well. That's a bit of a surprise. Yeah, Graham Mulcahy gone off there, a little bit surprised with that maybe. I thought Mulcahy's still dangerous and full of running, but Ellis again a big strong man and maybe there to win more possession in the half forward line.
Yeah, he's a different kind of player completely. Very much a half forward, whereas Mulcahy was a finisher. So a change of direction maybe, but then we've got the 2 big men, Shane Dowling and Declan Hannon, former wonderful, prodigious underage talents, coming good here in the heat of battle in the Munster Championship. Limerick trying to win back this Munster title for the first time in 17 years. And that's where that challenge came in there. That was by Conor Ellis, first intervention. This is going to be Conor O'Sullivan who will hit this next one. From the Sarsfields club in Riverstown, Glanmire. Didn't make the greatest of contact with that, but it still comes good for Tom Kenny. Kenny looking for a 4th winner's medal this year. Cut out by Tom Condon, looking for a first. Trying to get away there from Luke O'Farrell, and O'Farrell puts in the stick and makes a very good contact and makes it very awkward for the corner back there from Knockaderry. 9 ball to Cork, went off Condon. This one's got to be taken by Tom Kenny. Cork needing a score. They've gone 4 behind. They were level 10 points apiece at half time. And that ball has been cut out this time by Richie McCarthy, superb during the opening 35 minutes. This time Wayne McNamara, and McNamara up here as far as Conor Ellis. UCD student Ellis goes after this, back in his own 65-metre line, trying to spoon it outside here to the waiting Paul Brown. Did well to get away from Daniel Carney. over across as far as James Ryan. A more expansive game now being played by Limerick, and it all ends up with a magnificent shot by Ryan that's fired over the bar. The former footballer, now very much the prominent number 11 hurler, has got a third point in this Munster final, and Limerick hurling fans are loving every second of it. They lead by 5.
Yeah, Ger, that's an incredible score. He must have been 90 yards out, on the angle. Probably the wrong option, but went wide. But it's one of those days. The wind is picking up out there. You can feel it up here even. Nice breeze, and Limerick have it behind them now. And Cork really need a goal, I'd say, at this stage to get them back into the game.
They've got Seamus Harnedy attacking, looking for a score. He'll settle for a point. He gets one, and that's a third one for Seamus Harnedy. And that's Cork's first point from play in the second half. The other 2 points, of course, had come from Jamie Cole and Freeze. So now it's 17 points to 13. More changes been made, and we're about to see another big man come in, and this is number 26 for Cork, Michael Cusson. 6'6", 6'7", take your pick. He's a giant of a man anyway. Comes in place of Luke O'Farrell, and I wonder whether this will mean a change of direction now, because with that kind of height and that kind of physique, you imagine the direct ball in might well be the one they will target.
Yeah, absolutely, Jared. That's going to be it now. Just basically get the ball and feed it in long and hope to maybe get a break or two off there. There's only 4 points in hurling that can change around very, very quickly. And Limerick have those couple of other options on the bench still. Maybe like Niall Moore and Kevin Downs still maybe to come in there into their forward line. They're incredible subs to have. To have subs that would maybe make a lot of inter-county teams, and they're not in the game yet. So very warm. See the ref taking on a lot of water out there as well.
John Allen looking on here as Paulie O'Brien, his wing back, is in need of attention, and he's been getting attention now for over 40 seconds, I would think. And I think John Allen is just wondering whether or not the number 8, number 5 can continue. And it looks like we're going to see Cathal King coming in. He played in the semi-final. Not in just yet.
Yeah, you'd imagine Seamus Hickey be an option back there as well. Loads of experience playing at wing back and corner back.
As this ball is put deep into the Cork half once again. Once more it's James Ryan getting a lot of opportunities, firing this one to the left, however, in front of an attendance of 42,730, which means it's the biggest Munster final attendance since about 4 years ago, also here in Limerick when it was tipped against Clare. Cork come back, they need scores. They're 4 behind. Carney inside, on as far as Lorcan McLaughlin has to go this way and that before swinging his stick and putting it wide, and a missed opportunity. It was never going to be easy. Seamus Harnedy went to him immediately and said, hard luck, keep it going. And Cork will continue to play with spirit and determination, you can be certain of that. But Limerick hold all the aces at this stage, and with 21 minutes gone in the second half. There's the scoring opportunities created.
Well, Cork's there 13 out of 29, that's really miserable, and they've had a lot of wides, maybe around 14 wides at this stage in the game, and they're well on top. If they're taking even half of those chances to be well in this game.
Right now they're battling to get it out of their own defence. It's Conor O'Sullivan, high up into the air, 1-2 work for here for Park Cronin, knocking it down, intended for Lorcan McLaughlin, but it's 3 against 2. The numerical advantage of Limerick is certainly paying off. You remember it was 10 points apiece at half time. Cork had the better of things by and large during the first half, but hit a lot of wides. Think about 10 wides during that first half. But then the sending off of Patrick Horgan looks like it has been one of the significant moves of the game. One of the significant moves right now has been made by Cathal Nocton, and he hits it high and he puts it over the bar, and he's got a first point. It's 17 points down once again to within manageable distance. It's 17-14, 3 between them.
Great score there by Cathal Nocton. Lovely dummy hand pass there, went around his man off to hurl over the bar. And Cork really, credit to Cork there, the last couple of scores there, keep them back in the game. Seamus Harnedy scored his 3rd point from play.
There's Cathal King going on. Player coming off is the wing back Paulie O'Brien, who was injured a few minutes ago, and I think John Allen has decided it's time to freshen things up. On a steaming hot day like this, sensible tactics.
And I think Donald O'Grady gone back wing back there now, and Cathal King coming into the middle of the field.
Nicky Quaid's puck out. Big, huge one over there, intended for Hannon. Comes back here instead to Cork and to Tom Kenny in particular. Back down along the line towards Seamus Harnedy. Couldn't keep the ball in play. Line ball to Limerick. Approaching 58 minutes, 12 minutes to go here. Limerick by 3. Very, very warm conditions, up around 26, 27 degrees, I would imagine, again today. Little cooling breeze, making life more bearable. This line ball's got to be hit in by Gavin O'Mahony, 26-year-old from Kilmallock. Tony Considine, his club coach, county champions. Up it goes, up there, dropped down there by Dowling this time. Recovered well, and Cork's Christopher Joyce hits it. This time beyond Cahill-Nocton, runs on towards Park Cronin. Donald O'Grady lost his stick. Cronin had his and availed of the opening to put it over, and a third point for Cronin, another for Cork. The fight back continues, and the 14 men are now within 2 points of Limerick.
Yeah, and Jerry, you'd have to say that great score by Park Cronin from the middle of the field, but Donald O'Grady looked to be out on his feet there. Cork players seem to be, again, re-energised. They're picking up a lot of the breaking ball again, and they're doing very, very well. And as I said earlier, if they're taking some of their chances, they'll be leading in this game now. So you'd have to credit 14 men since half time, and they're putting in a huge effort here in the second half.
Stephen White's on in the middle of the field in place of number 8, Loco McLaughlin. Cork come back again, and it's Stephen White with his first taste of the ball and first touch, all the way down as far as Richie McCarthy, trying to get Cussin into it. Cussin fouled, free out. That's the one thing that Cork do not want to do, give away frees to Limerick, which will put the pressure right back on their defence again. But his stick came around McCarthy there, who's having another storming match for Limerick. What a performer at number 3. This free to be taken by Gavin O'Mahony, a great striker of the ball. Remember the 8 points he got against Dublin in the All-Ireland quarter-final a few years ago? This time the free taken from a deep position, aimed towards Ryan. MacDonald comes out for it, Ryan goes after it, Hickey gets there first, shortens the grip on the stick and fires it over the bar. That's a very valuable score by Seamus Hickey. It's only his 7th ever championship point, first today, 10 minutes to go, 3 between them again in a thrilling Munster final in Limerick.
Yeah, Jaron, that's very, very important score. Cork got the last couple of scores and Limerick really needed a score, and there's a puck out gone straight out over the line.
There was a fumble by William Egan. It was aimed at him by Anthony Nash. The left half didn't take it, lapse in concentration. So now Limerick can take possession, take their time as well, and can pile on the agony. John Allen, who has done so much for hurling in this country, and who masterminded successes for Cork and Munster successes, now on the verge of leading Limerick to a Munster title and a place in the semi-finals, would be some achievement. This to be taken by Declan Hannon.
Yeah, Jaron, well Kepler putting this over the bar, very good at these.
Oh, he's got it beautifully. Will it curl? Will it curl? He has. How about that? An 8th point. This one from a sideline. Brilliant strike. Just watch the left hand upright here. The ball's in the air, and oh yes, just inside. No need for Hawkeye. It's 1915.
Any golfer in the world would be proud of that. Beautiful.
Right on
left
the green.
to right.
Once again, it's picked up by Seamus Hickey. Hickey takes off. Collins after him. Can't get to him. Hickey's playing like a man inspired in this final. Back to Paul Brown, and Brown shoots it. And Limerick are finding that everything's almost going over the bar at this stage. That one stopped, however, and it comes to Conor O'Sullivan. The intervention of Nash was important there. Comes out here towards Tom Kenny. Needs to get it under control. 8 minutes to go in this final. Limerick leading by 4. They come again with Gavin O'Mahony. The left half back, tearing forward here. And it takes a fast one to beat Cahill-Nocton. Nocton got back, got his stick in. But just a moment ago, Nash here was in some difficulty when that ball was hit in high. And this is what happened.
Yeah, it was Paul Brown. It looked like it was going over, but he brought it down. And Conor quickly there to clear the danger. Here's Declan Hannon now from the other side of the field, nearly in the very same position.
8 points so far in the match.
I don't think he'll get this one.
If he doesn't, will you do my lottery numbers as well? Well, he's got the last one from the other wing, and this one he puts to the left. You're right. Stays at 19 points to 15. 7.5 minutes are left in the final, plus the usual 1 or 2 minutes to be added on. Intensive mood, JBM. Anthony Nash's puck out. Well, it was aimed towards Carney, but it comes back to William Egan. William Egan, who saw that ball trickle out over the sideline a few minutes ago, this time sends it in dangerously. Cussin was appealing for it, so too was Nicky Quaid. In the end, the umpire says harmlessly wide. Nobody able to make sufficient contact on it. Missed them all apparently.
Yeah, dangerous ball, but I think you're going to see Cork resorting to route one now for the last few minutes. There's no point having Michael Cusson in there unless they do that, but there's two men in there marking him.
They have to try and get a goal chance. Once again it is McDonnell pursuing the corner forward here, who is Shamie Tobin, and Shawnee Tobin unable to get it under sufficient control. Ends up being Cork possession and a chance for them to launch it down the field once again. They're going to bring their goalkeeper out to take this one. I'm sure there'll be lots on your mind after this particular match. Don't forget Damian O'Reilly's programme on RT Radio 1 tonight. Take your point just after 6. Anything you have to say about the game? A mention of game, there's Game On 2FM every night next week. Great programme of sport. Great match here in Limerick. Limerick defending, and defending strongly, and it comes out to the captain Donal O'Grady, given his debut against Cork back in 2004 when Padjo Wheelahan was the manager that time. Right now Donal O'Grady has managed the side, and he's watching Shane Dowling come in, advance with menace and put it over the bar. A second point for Shane Dowling, the wonderful young talented hurler who's come off the bench to put 5 between them with 5 minutes left.
Yeah, Jerry's very strong, and he did the right thing, put them 5 points up, but a goal on there, all he do is flick it inside. But at this stage, Limerick 5 points with Cork only with 14 men.
And Kevin Downs is now coming on in place of Shawnee Tobin. And Michael, when you think about all the subs that were at Allen had at his disposal today, it was a very, very talented looking bench. And that one has been left behind inexplicably to Kevin Downs. Oh, a horrible mistake. And that's gone over the bar by Downs. He could scarcely believe it. Christmas come in the month of July.
Yeah, and Ger, we talked about this before the game, but likes of Shawnee Tobin, Graham Mackay, very pacey, used their pace early, stretch lads, and then to bring on the likes of of Kevin Downs and Shane Dowling, big strong men, Conor Ellis, to win possession and finish the game. Dangerous ball in here now.
This is the one, inside towards Cusson, couldn't grab it, however, outmanoeuvred, outmuscled, and away in the end, out of danger for Limerick. Cork try to get it back again. 4.5 minutes are left, but they are 6 points behind. That's back in again by Daniel Carney. Naughton trying to regain it for Cork, and this time the referee saw a foul. Limerick player goes down, free out to Limerick. Clenched fists all around. Man on the deck there, Donal O'Grady from Grana Ballingarry. And the end result is going to be a free out of danger.
There's a row down in the other square off the ball, just a bit of pushing and shoving. Well, the crowd getting very excited now, Jared. They know, Limerick within touching distance now of their first Munster championship since 1996.
Yeah, bridging a gap of 17 years. The referee goes in.
But the atmosphere is incredible now. And the Limerick players out on their feet, a lot of them. See Paul Brown, Donal O'Grady, men that have covered huge ground.
They've played superbly in the second half, Limerick, but they've had the advantage of one extra man for all of the 35 minutes, or as it is, 31-32 so far. This is what was happening behind the referee's back here.
Yeah.
Not very pleasant, not terribly edifying.
Both of them will get at least yellow cards.
So the referee, who's already dished out yellow cards and 1 red.
Yeah, and it's going to be a big talking point, Jerry. Pat Horgan under that high ball. You asked me before half-time what I thought. I knew the ball had struck. The freeze on the way in there.
And it's taken by Joyce, and Christopher Joyce gets it back out again. Across the field by William Egan. Cork zigzagging it down with Carney now, all the way down towards his clubmate at SARS, Michael Cusson. Couldn't quite reach him, but Michael Cusson comes out, has it under control, pursued by 2 Limerick players, makes an angle and puts the ball wide. Disappointing finish there for Michael Cusson, who's waited patiently to get his big chance to come on in this Munster final. But now we're almost at 68 minutes, 2 to go, and Limerick are almost there, going for their 19th ever Munster title. Another change, and this change here involves the Limerick man, and that's Niall Moran. We'll see him very shortly. It would be fitting if he were to come on and share in a big glory day. He's done so much in the past for Limerick hurling, and so have all the Moran family. This is still in play by Paul Brown. Slips it down along into the corner here. Once again, Kevin Downs. And that is a beautiful shot. He jumps for joy. He punches the air. He's got a second. 2 shots on the target. 2 points by a substitute who's only just on the park. Not half bad. Limerick 22, Cork 15.
Yeah, but your Limerick players laying down a marker for the next day. Kevin Downs punching the air there. That's his second point. Shane Dowling with 2 points, since coming on. And that's what Limerick game plan has been, to introduce these key subs late on in the game to finish off what has been a very brave challenge from Cork, considering they had 14 men and they had loads of chances that they didn't take throughout the game.
The scores from play are interesting. Niall Moran is on. Seamus Hickey has been replaced for the last couple of minutes, having played his heart out. Niall Moran in for the last few minutes then of what is looking like a glorious afternoon for John Allen, the man who came after Donal O'Grady from Cork to take up the manager's reign here in Limerick, and now has guided them virtually to a Munster title in his second year here. And there's another one, and that's Shane Dowling with a third. Superb play, inspiring work there by Dowling. Well, the manager's been able to bring these fellas off the bench, and how they have relished the occasion. 23-15.
Jaron, you mentioned Niall Moore there. Look what service he's given to Limerick over the years, and he's had great days and he's had poor days in the Limerick jersey, you'd have to say. And Ollie, his brother, there for so long, maybe without time with the Munster Championship. So it's a great day for the Mourns and great day for Limerick now. You have to say they've been taken over completely in the last 15 minutes.
It's 11 minutes since Cork scored, but then I think it was very hard on them. I also think that an 8-point difference right now isn't fair on the effort that they put in overall in what has been a very good Munster final. But the scoreline doesn't lie, 23-15. And we've got Shane Dowling with the game almost into stoppage time. 2 minutes of stoppage time to be played, and he's put that one wide. So it's another wide for Limerick, and that's 10 in all. Something to work on for them, no doubt.
Well, Ger, Limerick is a passionate sporting county, as we all know, with the rugby and football and soccer, every other sport. But hurling is a huge game down here. I think we're going to see some pitch invasion after this game. It'll be like a throwback to the old days.
Certainly should be, and that's Niall Moran. Off he goes. Of course, he teaches an Old Skull Reach, and he's got a point, and he's put it over the bar. And that creams off a wonderful day for him. Just perfection, really. Everything possible that could go right has gone right for Limerick. Everything that could go wrong for Cork has gone wrong for them.
Yeah, but Jerry, you mentioned, look, those subs have scored 6 points from play between them. Kevin Downs has got 2, Shane Dowling has got 3, and Niall Moore got 1, and that's a massive contribution.
It's now a 9-point advantage for Limerick. Seconds away, 1 minute to go. We now know the quarter-final arrangements on July the 28th. It'll be Cork versus Kilkenny. It'll be Galway versus Clare. That now confirmed. Limerick are in the semi-final of the All-Irelands. They'll go there as Munster champions, and who knows, they may yet be All-Ireland champions. Kevin Downs swinging it in there towards Declan Hannon, and they're playing ducks and drakes now at this stage, with the crowd ready for the biggest invasion of this pitch there has been for decades. They're ready for the invasion. The players better get ready. The Gardaí are down there trying to do their best just to get us as far as the 72nd
they're only keeping
minute.
them off the pitch, Ger. They're not trying to stop them coming on when the final whistle goes.
No, we just want to see the game finish.
Yeah. There's no one is going to stop them.
24-15. Well, it's quite amazing. Limerick on home soil, a 16th Munster title for them.
The Slitter's
their first since 1990. Tom Ryan was in charge. But this is John Allen and his team's big day. The Cork native who has guided Limerick. And it'll be Shane Dowling looking for his 4th point of the match. Up into the crowd. Not sure, it went wide, it's all over. Limerick are the Munster champions 2013. And nobody can take it away from them. John Allen has masterminded a wonderful victory on Shannon's side. They've waited some 17 years. It's a proud sporting city, as you've mentioned, Michael. Great for rugby, great for everything. It's so many facilities here. But look at this setting here. It is spectacular. They've waited so long. Cork congratulate John Allen, who as manager, remember, took up the cudgel as manager of Cork in 2005, which I thought was a very brave thing at the time, because Donal O'Grady had won the All-Ireland the previous year, beating Kilkenny by whatever it was in the 2004 final, and then he came along and took up the challenge of winning in 2005, and I'm sure people said to him, you're mad, you're crazy, can't be done, you can't emulate what he's already done before you. But he's a man who loves a challenge, and he showed us today just what he's able to produce. And here in the Gaelic ground in Limerick, it has been a very, very worthy success for Limerick. The final score here, for the record, it's Limerick 14, it's Limerick 24 points, Cork 15, 9 between them. Michael, the sending off before half-time, is that the big moment?
Well, it was a big moment, but at the end of the day, you can't take away from Limerick's fantastic win. But it was huge at the time. You know, Pat Horgan was in behind. He did slap across the back of the head. The referee was close by. He thought it was a red card. I thought it was very harsh. But a fantastic. Look at these scenes out on the pitch. You know, hurling is made to go around. The big championships, the big wins, the Munster championships, All Ireland. We see, and this has been the most brilliant hurling championship so far, and this caps it maybe again today. It's brilliant for hurling. It's like the 90s all over again, and well done to Limerick.
Well done to Limerick indeed. Tears in the eyes of some of the fans, leaping for joy. What a setting, what a summer's day in Limerick. Let's go back to Michael.
Oh, absolutely incredible scenes here at the Gaelic grounds in Limerick, on foot of Limerick's first win of the Munster Championship since 1996. And here enjoying it with me in studio, Cyril Farrell, Liam Sheedy and Gerlach Nan. Cyril Farrell, I know that GA have done a lot of work towards, and particularly in Croke Park, towards keeping the crowd off the field, and there is a big argument to say that as well. But as Ger said in the commentary, this is like the old days. You actually wouldn't really want to stop this.
This is what the GA is all about. I don't agree with it. I know it's nice for the players and they're held up, but look, you saw the euphoria there, Michael. It's unbelievable. There's nearly 40,000 field Limerick people here. I know there's not this half and half, but it's been a great occasion. But the big difference in the second half, 10 points each at half time. Limerick scored 14 points in the second half, Cork scored 5. Limerick brought on 3 subs, and I think between the 3 of them they got 6 points from play, 6 points out of it. That's a turbo return, and I suppose the big talking point will be sent off with Pat Horgan. But in the second half, what Limerick weren't doing in the first half, they drove on, they played very intelligent ball, and they picked great scores from outside. Now Cork got some great scores too, but the extra man just told, and you could feel the momentum was with Limerick, and there was no way they were going to be stopped. And if we're down for 10 more minutes, they're going to be more. The whole lot was just opening and opening and opening. And John Allen has a team now in our semi-final. He has fellas, you could see the likes of Dowling coming on there. These guys are mad to get on and mad to play. They want to start the next day, so he's in a lovely position. And that's what's making this championship so unreal. Dublin and Limerick in the All-Ireland semi-finals. No one could have predicted that at the beginning of the year.
Limerick in that second half, Gerlach Nan, were like a juggernaut heading towards victory. You, as a Clareman, have had some great battles with Limerick. They're keenest and sometimes bitterest of rivals of yours, but I've no doubt you would share in this joy with them today.
Well, you see, I had fantastic time for Limerick. As a matter of fact, the last time they won the All-Ireland, I was teaching in Dublin the following day, and I was in Hill 16 with a green cap on me, with a brand new suit. It poured rain, and all the dye of the cap ran down my suit and ruined it for the following day.
I bet you didn't tell the locals that you were wearing the green cap.
In the meantime, when I got on the Clare team afterwards, things changed a bit. But that's the way rivalry is. Now, you think of Limerick and the Munster Championship. They won 2 in the 70s. They won 2 in the 80s. They won 2 in the 90s. But they haven't won any in the last decade or in this decade so far. So this is a big gap for them. This is a massive breakthrough. Now just think back to the under 21 team they had in the year 2000. They never made the breakthrough. Huge hope that they would win a Munster Championship. But here we have the souls of this zone in the last few years with their under 21 and the great mixture, the bringing in of John Allen and the return to the traditional Limerick fire and spirit. That's what did this. There was no fancy stuff there in the second half. They moved the ball really quickly and they brought in those great subs and finished off the job. Brilliant, well done to Limerick. Fantastic for the county and fantastic for hurling.
We'll go over to the presentation in just a moment, but before that, Liam Sheedy, just a quick word from yourself. Maybe the story of this Limerick success is based in the substitutes list here that they have in this match, because a couple of years ago, young players like Shane Dowling, Kevin Downs were being marked out as the future of Limerick hurling. Now, I know they came on as subs today, but this is where it all began.
During a day like today, or Michael, on a day like today, it's a 20-man game. You know what I mean? The heat was was unbelievable out there. And in fairness, they have it on the bench, you know. And the important thing is that with top class players is to keep them hungry enough that they don't feel disappointed that they're not starting and they're willing to play their part. And all three guys, you know, Niall Moore, Shane Dowling and Kevin Downs all ran onto the field, meant to do something for Limerick, and it paid off in the day. You know, as the day, subs really do win matches at the end of the day.
They won't want to start the subs the next day, you can be certain of that. Let's go over to the presentation.
Yes, it's Robert Frost, who is the chairman of the Munster Council, with his cúpla focal just before the presentation is going to be made to Donal O'Grady.
Counties. I would also like to thank our sponsors for that generous sponsorship of our championship here today.
Isn't it amazing that when you think about it, the two teams who competed in the Division 1B final back on that night in April, when everybody said they're only 1B, they're now champions. It's Limerick who are Munster champions. Donal O'Grady lifting the Munster Cup, champions for 2013. Just like Dublin are Leinster champions. This is an amazing scene, an amazing setting, a day of joy for everybody in Limerick, a great day for hurling, a great day to be here. What a joy to be part of this sport, and everybody having fun and having the day of their lives. Young and old, they'll always remember this day. And the great thing is there's another 2 months of this championship still to go. Who will be holding the McCarthy Cup? Right now, Limerick don't care. Here's Donal O'Grady.
Chairman of the Munster Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's been 16 years since the Munster Cup was in Limerick hands, but finally, today is the day it comes back home. Just a few thank yous. I'd like to thank our backroom team, our hurley carriers, Jerry, John, Joe Hannon, all the boys, the selectors, lads, Donnacha O'Donnell, our coach, John Kiley, Eamon Meskel, Mark Lyons. Superb job done with us, lads. We could have lasted another 20 minutes. Well done. There's one man who today, I think, was an awkward enough day for him. He had a Limerick jersey on his back for the last 2 years. And John, you plotted the downfall of the Rebels today, so thank you. To our sponsors, JP and Noreen, it's unbelievable to have you backing us. When JP is involved with us, there's always that sense of belief and hope that we can stand here and lift the Munster Cup. And I think, JP, our gratitude goes out to you. You're an outstanding man, and thank you very much. To the county board, another crowd that have been outstanding and backed us from start to finish. Inter-county hurling, lads, has taken on a new lease of life. The commitment involved now is frightening, and there's a lot of expense involved. So to the county board, there was nothing left spared, lads, and we got a reward today, so thank you very much. To Jimmy Barry Murphy, Patrick Cronin and the Cork boys, today is tough, coming down to Limerick. Lads, you're not out of the competition. You made us earn it even though we're down to 14. You pushed us all the way. There's a kick in you, lads, and you'll never know the way the championship has gone. Limerick and Cork could be in the All-Ireland final, so thank you very much for the sporting game. And finally, to the great bunch of supporters that we have. We've had some tough years, lads. But you have to lose them to win them. The hunger that was there at Limerick today, I knew and we knew we would not be beaten. So thank you to everyone for making it a great occasion. Limerick, kaboom!
Donald O'Grady, the Limerick captain, raising the cup aloft. And I tell you something, if Limerick go on to win this year's All-Ireland title, well, the best of luck to the GA and trying to stop scenes like that at Croke Park. That's all I can say.
That's the thing about Limerick, you know. The one thing, when the Limerick supporters get a sniff of victory, they turn out in massive numbers. They will shake Croke Park in the semi-final when they're there, and they'll give massive help to the team. You know, they are so numerous and so passionate about the game. I know they get a very dispirited of time, but when the team is going well, when they just smell that chance of victory, they come out in huge. Look at that scene out there. Absolutely. What other game would you see that in?
He's gone through a lot of the bad times with Limerick, and it's great to see him being rewarded. Like he held the cool when other lads around him for years ago things were happening in the camp.
And Cyril, it's great for them to have a really solid guy like that as their main
the professor himself, sure, he's more solid than he won't panic.
He's just a perfect man for them, you know.
And it should also be said, because I can see just down from our studio here going out the gate, those Limerick and Cork supporters who are leaving at this stage, leaving shoulder to shoulder, and talking about the match.
That's the thing about the GA. They're talking about health and safety. They'll all go together, share the sandwiches and a few drinks together. There's no animosity afterwards. There's no fear of anyone, maybe being pushed around. But like, how can you stop them when out there? And as Ger says, they get to Croke Park, how you stop them either. But like, that's part of the GA. I see nothing wrong with it at all. They'd have to say fair play to Cork. They stood out, they're there, they're a bit down, they'll be very disappointed, but they'll be back again and they'll be still hard to beat the championship.
And still well. If you were a player, or if you're a manager, the biggest thrill you'll ever get after winning a big game is to meet your neighbours outside in the field. Yeah. It's not the same when you meet them. Meet them on the pitch where you won the game. It's absolutely. Yes. And to see all those just walking around, chatting, meeting each other, taking photographs. What the hell is wrong with that? That's part of Munster Championship anyway. Whatever about Croke Park.
I'd say Limerick have about 3 days to meet their neighbours now anyway, because I'd say that they're going around all over Limerick. Well, it's fabulous. I mean, look, it's a very they say a lot about the city of Limerick. At the end of the day, Limerick is a city of sport. They love their sport, they love their sporting heroes. They come out in their thousands and they'll flock to this team and they will follow this team. And they've been with them through thick days and through thick and thin. They stood by them, and the support that they got today, like, it really felt like they had an extra man in the stand today. And you would be delighted for Limerick. Listen, it's always difficult in teams to lose a final, and but like John Allen brought his team well prepared today. They'd done their stuff, done their homework, and they didn't panic when they got the extra man. Drove on and completely outplayed the opposition in the second half. Cork will have to regroup if they're to take on the mighty Kilkenny in 2 weeks' time. But I mean, for today is all about Limerick and a fantastic victory for them.
But Donald Cusick said a great thing during the week. He says when a team plays with passion, everything else falls into place. Tactics, passion of the play, everything. And it's just to see Limerick there in the second half. They would had it in full forward. They went back to the traditional alignment of the team, and they just played with absolute fire and passion and method as well. There was great method in their play as well. They took over completely, and to be at a game where players are playing with that passion, that totally adds to the occasion as well.
Well, there was no doubt about their passion in that second half, and everything did for sure fall into place. All right, then it's time for another break. We will have more analysis and reaction when we return now. Plus, by the way, our competition, because there's also a chance for you to bring someone home for this year's All-Ireland hurling final and then travel back with them to anywhere in the world. More on that right after these.
Centra, sponsors of the GAA Hurling Championship.
MasterChef Ireland is back. RTE are looking for the country's most adventurous and talented amateur cooks to take part. If you think you've got what it takes to become the next MasterChef champion and win €25,000 in cash, apply online now. Closing date is Monday, the 22nd of July.
Welcome to the Man Manual. Instructions for the modern man. Man's armpits are a groundbreaking achievement of design. They are multi-purpose. Warning, failure to look after man's armpits may lead to malfunction. Maintain them properly using Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant. It's tough on sweat and protects skin with a quarter moisturiser technology. This leaves man's armpits multi-splendid. Dove Men Plus Care Antiperspirant. Tough on sweat, not on skin.
No roaming charges on calls and texts, plus 10 megs of data for 99 cents a day when visiting Europe.
When in Rome.
Smart.
Need a business nifty? Use 11850.
This is urgent. Please watch now. This is Sophia. Her story is every mother's nightmare. Her 5-year-old son was swept away when a massive flood struck her village. While nursing her newborn baby, she turned away, and in an instant he was gone.
I could not find my son. I searched so hard.
Now Sophia's community live in constant fear that the floods will return and take more lives. We're asking you to do something right now. Please text Oxfam to 50300 to give just €4 and help us save lives.
I could not bury my son.
Nothing can bring Sophia's son back, but with your support, Oxfam can help save many more lives. Your €4 can help us build flood shelters and new houses on raised ground to protect families who are at risk right now. But we need your help. Text Oxfam to 50300 and give €4 now. Thank you.
Standing next to me, left or right side, take your pick. But girl, you got to make it quick, baby, baby, baby. I know I drive you crazy. Yeah.
Coors Light, Rocky Mountain Cold Refreshment.
We've teamed up with Etihad Airways, proud sponsors of the GA Hurling All-Ireland Senior Championship, to give you the chance to bring a friend or family member living overseas home for hurling. Etihad Airways will fly your friend plus a guest from any of their network destinations connecting to Dublin in time to catch this year's All-Ireland Hurling Final. This great prize includes flights, 4 tickets to the final, overnight accommodation for 4 in a top Dublin hotel, and €1,000 spending money. But that's not all. You in turn would then be able to visit your friend, as you'll also receive return flights for 2 from Ireland to your friend's destination. For your chance to win, answer this question. Which one of these is the current manager of the Dublin senior hurling team? Anthony Daly, Brian Cody, or Davy Fitzgerald? To enter, call 15 16 71 71 74 or text the word hurling followed by your answer and name to 57001. Viewers in the north can also text 57001 or call the number on screen. You must be over 18 to enter. Lines will close at midday on Friday, July 19th. More details on RTE Airtel page 194, where the lucky winner will also be announced.
So then, Limerick are the Munster hurling champions of 2013 after defeating Cork on a scoreline of 24 points to 15 in front of an attendance of 42,730. But now, let's hear from the Limerick manager. It is, of course, John Allen. He's talking to Joanne Cantwell.
Big congratulations, John. There's been a long wait, a lot of hard work. It must be great to finally have the reward.
Yeah, I suppose I'm only in the seat a small while, but I do appreciate that it's a while since they've won 96. It's badly needed, really, and you saw the hysterics and the Leinster final last Sunday with Dublin winning.